Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be listening or hearing or watching this, I should say, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. Now, this would be the 2023 season of said Gaming Circle podcast. And of course, I am your co-host. Ooh, I knew this was going to already start. We already have echoes. I hear we have echoes.
But are we live?
Are we live? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please tell us we're live. We're full bore going into the new technology. There will be some growing pains, but we're going to start off and we're going to make sure this works. Tell us if the echoes are bad. Mm-hmm.
I see stream ended.
It says stream ended? No, I don't see stream ended.
Maybe that's just on my end. This is very strange.
Okay. How bad? Are the echoes really?
No. Okay, we're good. We're still live.
Can you hear me? Listen
I hear you perfectly.
No, I'm not talking about listening in your ear. On your stream, can you hear? How bad is the echo? Is it a duplicate? Do I need to tweak? What am I doing here?
Wait a minute.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
iMill says that there's a live echo.
There's a live echo. Yes. I'm echoing. Okay. Understood.
But I sound good. So
of course you sound good.
As usual.
Can you hear me now? Is there still an echo, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me still? Let's test now. I just turned
your stuff together.
Well, hold on.
First, but you know there's that new YouTube rule.
Exactly. There'll be no cursing.
No,
ladies and gentlemen,
now you're on mute.
Now I'm on mute. Okay. See, so if I either mute it or I echo, this is gonna be amazing. All right. We're gonna figure this out.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, you couldn't hear me before. But now you can hear me.
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, and then when I do that, there's also an echo. Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right. No one can hear.
Okay. But that's on a delay. So, chat, is the echo still there? Did the echo echoes back now that we can hear you?
Now it says you are broadcasting twice, Kay. That's what it says. Oh no. See, this is just gonna keep doing it to us. See, and I blame the Everborn got no time because we couldn't do this until right now, unfortunately.
You see how I get the blame
automatically? That's just how it's gonna go down.
Okay.
That's just how it's gonna go down because Everborn got no time. That's what happened. That's what happened here. That's what happened here.
Let's see what's going on.
All right. Hold on. Let me see here. How about now? Is there still an echo? Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me.
Now you're on
let
mute,
me know.
But you probably sound good to them. So you gotta find a way.
Yeah, we gotta find a medium to make this thing go away and make it work.
And I have to watch the chat on my phone.
Oh,
because for me it shows that the stream is ended.
so if you go to our channel right now,
No.
you try to watch
the channel
it
is
says
good.
The stream is
It's
ended?
live on the channel.
Okay,
right?
so how does it say it's ended on yours?
In StreamYard.
Oh, don't worry about that. StreamYard is just there to make sure you look good, bro. That's all StreamYard's there for.
I don't
as
need
long as
StreamYard's help for that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will keep tweaking this as we go along. If we are delayed in any shape or form, or if there's any issues or anything like that, folks, don't hesitate to let us know. Don't hesitate to call me out. I'll be making tweaks as we go along, but I will get the intro started here. I am your host.
Before you do that, though, is the echo back now that I can hear you?
Yeah, I'm asking of folks, is the echo back? I turned our stream music down. Maybe that's what was echoing with me as well. Let's see. Yeah, see, it says K's echo is bad. Oh, this is terrible. See, these are the issues you deal with when you have to deal with all this stuff yourself. But all right, hold on.
But
I'm going to make sure
you are echoed.
Yeah, because I'm the one who's it's coming from my controller, so I have to make sure I find where that is.
There and very present.
It's there and very present. Okay.
Yes.
So Everborn, shall we take this offline for a moment and then come back? Shall we do that? Because I want to make sure we solve this. I don't want the echo to continue.
We can unless you want me to talk to the chat while you figure it out, but that may not help us.
Okay. Well, for now, you do that, and let me see if I can do some tweaking. I will do that and see what we can do. Okay, give me just a moment here.
It's either that, and I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but it's either that or you go on mute unless you're speaking. But I don't even know if that'll work. And apparently, you sound like Zoran, according to Mr. Joanna Dark in the chat.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
But first of all, while you figure that out, yes, I sound perfect as I usually do.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
It's like angels singing when I speak.
Of course it is.
But while you look at some things, we may have to go online, but I just want to shout out all the people that are here for the first show in 2023. So obviously we have the usuals, Mr. Joanna Dark. We got Mill in the building. We got J-Mo Money in the building. We have Lucius Augustus, Outbreak Podcast. Isildur's Bane. I like that name. Little Tolkien action you got going on. Who else is here? Lone Cavalier. What's going on? Who else do I see in here? Texas. Enzo. Who else do we? Oh, Boomstick is in the building.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. How bad? How bad? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know because we want to get started, but once I tweak this and it's perfect, we will leave it forever. We haven't found the righteous spot yet, but when we tweak it and it works, we will leave it like this forever.
Gerald Mack. Sorry, I just have to shout out Gerald Mack as soon as I saw him in the chat.
And real quick, I have to, and please, folks. Slight echo, but better, but getting better. Okay, echo is still there. Oh man, we gotta fix that. That's a problem. That is a problem, and I will not let it stand, ladies and gentlemen. I will not let it stand. We need to resolve this thing once and for all here. One moment, please. And Mr. Everborn Saga, please regale these folks with some of your goings on of the week, as far as what you've been playing and whatnot, while I go through this rigmarole, because I'm not going to let this thing stand. Or if you prefer, we can dead the stream and then come back. What do you think, Everborn?
We may have to. So, Lucius Augustus asked a question. I don't think it's that, because I have these headphones on and the mic is not picking it up, because if Kate talks and I like, I was just on mute, so I don't think that's what it is. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. Now I hear you. For a moment, I thought I lost you. Go ahead. The other thing is, wait, Mr. Joanna Dark says better.
Ooh,
oh no, the echo's back. Sorry, I'm a little behind.
Yeah, see, these are the issues, man. These are unfortunately the issues that we deal with. Worst case scenario, we can go back to StreamYard proper, StreamYard fully while we work the logistics. But I refuse to do that this year. Damn it, I refuse. So, Mr. Everborn Saga, how about we dead the stream for a moment and we come right back? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, is the chat cool with that? Chat, you
Please,
guys are part
if y'all
of this
are cool,
action
let
too.
us know.
Should we go and come back? Wait, now Kay Asante sounds good and I'm echoing. Wait a minute.
Where are we? What is going on?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, hold on. That's a good question. Do you have that volume controller where you separate the different apps? Is there one of them you can turn off? Maybe you have both of them on?
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to look through, trying to see if maybe there's multiple lines out open and I need to turn one of them off or something like that.
Ear trumpet.
What I'm doing.
You can try.
I'm looking at ear trumpet right now. I'm literally looking at ear trumpet as we speak. Hold on. Let's see. We have a lot of open channels. The USB. Yeah, that one's fine. Can you hear me now? Testing.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, you hear me. Okay, so yeah, we have to figure this out. Unfortunately, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. These are the growing pains, folks. These are the growing pains. It was cool. Let's see. That's it. Oh, echo's gone. Fantastic. Oh my God. I think we good. Everborn, speak. Is there echo?
Okay. Are we both good?
Are we both good, ladies and gentlemen? Because if that's the case, I'm going to freeze my machine in time, and we're never gonna touch it again. Oh, right. we got thumbs up. This is gonna avoid all that. Fantastic.
Here we go. See,
now, okay.
I just want to point out that I figured that out. I told you to go to ear trumpet, and then that's when it was fixed.
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, absolutely.
But we do have a tech drop today because I have been having issues with my PC, and I actually had to replace my memory yesterday, which should be fun to talk about. But we'll get there when we get there.
Oh, okay.
The joys of PC gaming.
And we're gonna totally like get into all the chats and all the people leaving us, and I will thank everyone profusely for the crazy super chats that have already started coming in. Our first capability of getting super chats. Thank y'all. But I'm gonna break protocol and go to the bottom first. The first one and point out Mr. Joanna Dark saying Everborn sounds like a Sonic stand. Perfect.
That's actually the software that I'm using. That makes me
the Sonic Stand software. Yes. Understood.
Yes.
So okay.
I have Sonic Forces. I just installed it yesterday on my PC, so it'll do that to you. All right, Kay, you talk to the people for a minute. My beautiful wife just brought me breakfast.
Oh, so you're gonna start shopping? Okay, go ahead, bro. So, okay, let's start again from the top. Again, thank you guys so much. Yes, we have some technical issues. You know, life happens, people. What are we going to do? But we are here, and we're here to enjoy. Ooh, and I'm hearing comments in the chat, people liking the way things are working. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Right off the top, let's get some housekeeping notes out of the way. Thank you guys so much for the support. As you can see, we are now at 1K subscribers at least. So we are now able to monetize the channel. We're also able to receive super chats and whatnot. You know, although it's absolutely not necessary. Let me say that from jump right now. Our show always has worked and will continue to work off of the community and communicating with y'all. So if you have a question, you can still put it in the chat and we will still answer it. We will do the best we can as we're growing, as we continue to grow. But thank you guys so much for the continued support. And already I see some super chats in there. I will first and foremost start with the first super chat of the day, which is of course the great Mr. Joanna Dark saying, thank you guys. So he loves the show. Congratulations on getting the channel monetized. And Everborn, when are we going to see you bend the knee? Because Sonic didn't sell. I'm still waiting for that.
We don't have the data yet. I'm
still waiting. I am still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that. It is what it is. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not giving up. It's going down. It's going down. And of course, the man, Gerald Mack, thank you so much with a $20 super chat. Y'all are crazy. Congratulations on 1,000. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. It's because of you and many of your advertisements. You ain't doing this. Why don't you join us? I appreciate you, man. And then, of course, I have Lucius Augustus also jumping in here. Congrats on the milestone. What's the next goal? Wow. Well, the next goal will probably be E3. The next goal will be, maybe getting some more official credentials on here. You know what I'm saying? Like possibly getting some developers to jump in here and having conversations with them. We have some things in the works that we're gonna continue pushing forward on. But we appreciate your continued support to help us get there. And then of course, Web Dave Outbreak Podcast. Welcome back, gentlemen, and congratulations. Thank you, Web Dave. I appreciate your support. This is some great stuff, man. I see so many people in the chat. We're already getting started. Tell people we're here. Yeah, of course. See, y'all are you're gonna already start messing with me. Tell the folks we're here. Tell folks that we've already started the show, and that have them jump in. The chat is already lively. I appreciate all you folks for being here. So, okay, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, as I keep saying, I'm overwhelmed with all this support that you guys have provided us. This year, we're gonna try and push forward much more than we have ever before. I'm gonna start putting some other things on this channel. I'm gonna start, trying to make it a bit more of something that you guys can depend on and have a lot of
3K by year's end. That's the goal.
Oh, this man is brave.
He's out there.
He's pointing it. It's over there. With your help, we're gonna get there. But you know what? So one thing I will ask is for you guys out there, as you see, we're trying to upgrade, we're trying to change things, we're trying to make it better. If there are any things that you guys see that you want us to fix, any things you want us to add, anything you want us to remove, please don't hesitate to comment when the post goes up. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me in the DMs or whatever you guys want to do. I'm here for it. We're here for it. We want to grow this channel as we're growing ourselves, and we really appreciate you guys caring enough to tell us what's what, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Also, we want to add a lot more voices on this channel as well. So I've already started inviting a bunch of folks that I maybe felt like I wasn't bold enough to be able to ask before. I'm going to start asking them now. We're going to start having a lot more voices, both from the media community, from the podcasting community, and also from the chat, from our local community, from the gaming community. You're going to start seeing a lot more of the faces and the names that you guys chat with. I'm going to start bringing them on the show, and we're going to start having gaming conversations as well. So we appreciate that.
On that note, and I want us to try this year, and I've been thinking about this. I want to have more people on that we disagree with.
Absolutely.
Because I think you can have a healthy. Obviously, we don't want.
We don't want craziness, of course, but healthy debate is always good. Absolutely, I'm in complete agreement. On that note, shout out to Mooch from the Crossfire podcast, who had me on. From time to time, he asked me to come on, and we had a great discussion. We don't always agree on everything, of course, but as usual, I jumped on there. There was no ridiculousness. I really, really appreciated, always being invited on there. And we can disagree, as long as we do it in a constructive way. So yes, Everborn, I completely agree with you. We're gonna have more dissenting voices on this podcast, And
except for Mr. Joanna Dark, because I can't take his Sonic slander.
Man,
that's too much disagreement.
He's gonna be the third chair just for your purposes. No, but seriously, this is the year we're trying to grow in many ways, in all ways possible. So, anybody who you guys think, hey, that'd be an interesting voice on our show, do not hesitate. Let me know. I will contact them. I'll see if I can try and get them on here as well. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the great support we've had, and of course, you see, we're trying to do upgrades. We're trying to do some interesting things here. I'm not gonna go back to the way we were. We're gonna try and stick it out this way. So thank you guys again so much. But you know what? Let us get started as we normally do.
Emil says he gave you the advice first, and then I'm trying to steal it. I say, prove it, sir. I need timestamps.
Exactly. We need receipts, as he says. But you know what? Let us switch off and let's start talking about what we're here to talk about, right? We're here for some games. We're here for gaming talk. So let us move on to some games that we have been playing. So myself, I will start with you, Everborn. I know you and I are pretty similar in the games we've been getting into this week. Well, actually, I would say the games we've been playing over the holiday season. Let me start with you, Everborn. Where are you with gaming? Have you been playing much? What have you been playing? Give me some of that.
I have. So right now I'm playing Ragnarok, but I also just completed
Uh-oh.
Deathloop.
Stop. I apologize. I
I
do
see
not mean to cut you off,
Josette.
sir.
This is Mrs. Boom.
Mrs. Boomstick, thank you. Oh my goodness. A $20 super chat from Mrs. Boomstick saying congratulations on 1K. Thank you for all the hard work. Wish you continued success. Best wishes from Mrs. Boomstick. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I feel like I feel like we're at the beginning of this show rather than where we are with it, and everybody's like, all the support is just overwhelming. Thank you so much. But yes, Everborn, hit me with the games you've been playing this week.
I just have to say to Mrs. Boomstick, we gotta invite Mr. and Mrs. Boom over for dinner along with King David.
I'm just saying.
We got to do like a
yes.
Oh yeah. When it gets warm again, we'll all do something because we just like renovated the backyard. So
see, and that means I'm gonna have to take a flight because you
guys are like 10 minutes away from us, so we'll
and I'm like 24 hours drive away from you. But
you
know what?
Here's Gerald Mack with another one.
Oh, Gerald Mack with a $5 super chat. Oh, Iron Man VR is hella fun. Plug your ears, Everborn. Indeed.
God. Here we go with the VR apologizing.
That's the man that knows the business. I'm just saying, y'all are looking for a VR for a good Iron Man game. One's out there. Y'all just not playing it. Just saying. Go ahead, Everborn. What you been playing?
Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I have right now I'm playing Ragnarok, but we'll come to that in a second. So over the holiday or whatever, I went on a game completion spree. So after Sonic Frontiers, I went straight into Plague Tale Requiem, which I think we talked about that before
you beat that too, right?
Right. And then I went into High on Life, which I really, really love. I think I scored it like an 8.5.
We have more High on Life news today. But yes, let's put a pin on High on Life for a minute. We'll get back to that one.
And then after High on Life, I went to finish Deathloop because I was almost done with it when Sonic came out. But I dropped that like a bad habit as soon as Frontiers was available. So I went and finished that, and now I'm into Ragnarok. And I also, there's a couple of games that I got on sale, but I haven't started them yet, which would be Gotham Knights, which I want to try. I think I got it for like $30-something on sale or something like that.
Nice.
It's like 41.
I think that's a good price for that game.
So that's there. But I started Ragnarok because you know what kind of year we're going into, and I felt like if I didn't get to it now, because we'll see what happens with Monster Hunter because I've never played a Monster Hunter game. But at the end of this month, we have Dead Space Remake coming out, which seems like it's going to be everything we hoped Callisto Protocol was. Which I think we have a Callisto Protocol topic on the books today.
Yes, we do.
But so that's what I've been playing. But now Ragnarok. Couple of things I want to say about it. And I don't think people are gonna like the things that I have to say.
Oh boy, let's speak, sir.
So I feel like Atreus's combat is more satisfying, at least to my play style, than Kratos. Right? The way he moves, the way he dodges things. It just feels better, and it may be because like Kratos is an evolution of what was in 2018, so Kratos doesn't feel very different than what we played in 2018. It just feels like his combat is more complex. He does have more moves, and there's better ways to chain things. Yes, but it's still more of the same. And because Atreus feels new. It just it grabs my attention more. So I'm like looking forward to the times I get to play as Atreus, even though I don't like him as a character because he's very annoying. But that might just be me being an old man. So then the other thing is I just feel like while it's great that we're continuing the story, while they have evolved it in all the right ways, it's still an evolution, and I don't have the same wow factor that I had playing 2018. And I played 2018 for the first time in 2021. So my dog just barked in the room.
Just opened the door and just walked in like, what up?
Let me show him to you.
Let's see the dog.
This guy is Hamilton.
As in, okay. Well,
yeah, we named him after we saw the play. So that's what's going on.
Well named. That's nice.
All right, go out.
And close the door behind you, Hamilton.
Yes. But so it just feels like a continuation. I don't feel like it's doing much new other than the Atreus gameplay, and to me, it just doesn't feel as special. And there's nothing against the game. It's just, I don't know.
Question for you, sir. Question for you. Did you play Doom to Doom Eternal? Like,
I only played Doom Eternal. I didn't play Doom 2016. Oh, you only played Eternal,
you never played 2016. Okay. Because then the question would have been...
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take Hamilton out of the room.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. No, so the reason why I'm asking the Doom to Doom Eternal is because Doom, original 2016 Doom, was this special remake kind of like bringing new fluidity to it, right? But Doom Eternal seemed to have upped the ante in almost every way, right? To my feels, when it comes to God of War to Ragnarok, it feels like they benefited a lot from the change that they really implemented in the original God of War, but they didn't iterate on what was working well as much in Ragnarok. So it's more of the same. Now, don't get me wrong, That the Same was great. I loved the first one, and so far, although I agree with you in certain aspects as far as the combat is concerned, I still think, and I'm far from the end, so I can't be very definitive on it, but I still think that I'm really going to enjoy the rest of this one as well. But to the question, to the idea that the combat is different with Atreus compared to you have something right on the side there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Other way.
There you
okay.
Go. Much better. Yes. To the statement that Atreus' combat is better, maybe it's the idea that they knew that Kratos is far more capable. They have spent a lot more time fleshing out Kratos' combat. So like Atreus' combat kind of felt like it wasn't as fluid initially. So they compensated by making him like it helps you a lot more. Like
I mean, the whole game helps you. That's another thing that I don't know that I appreciate. Like you can't if you take more than 30 seconds to do something, they just start saying, "Hey, maybe you should literally go right here and do that." I'm like, come on,
absolutely.
Why is it even a puzzle if you're gonna tell me what to do?
Shout out to the man, Mr. Boomstick Excel, with the $20 super chat. He says, "Congratulations on 1K. Let's go 3K." Oh man, those goals are too lofty, but with your help, and he got us over the finish line for 1K, ladies and gentlemen. So let's not get it twisted. He is the man, and we appreciate him. Thank you so much, Mr. Boomstick. And while I'm saying, I totally forgot because we had all these technical mishaps. Let us also not forget to give the huge shout out and huge salute and respect to the man himself, the Wandering Dutch, who really, really came like above and beyond out of nowhere. The man like, hey, 2023 is around. How about I hit you with a new intro for you? How about I hit you with a new outro? And I didn't even ask the man for this stuff. He just kind of came out with it and said, I think this music will fit your style a bit more. Let's do this for 2023. So shout out to you, good sir. Thank you so much for all the help. Without you, this show isn't as bouncy as it is. This morning, I'm sitting there bouncing. I'm bouncing. So thank you very much.
So we do also see Pixelbit G and Post Up have joined the chat.
Oh, I see Post Up in the chat and Pixel for sure, and Beast Mode 10. All the great favorites are here. All the great favorites.
Cat Daddy Lurk and Mill is asking you tax questions for some reason.
Yes, he is. He's we're talking income tax, bro. We're talking income tax. But yes, Mill, if you want to talk some logistics, hit me in the DMs, bro. I'll give you any information you need. No worries. And Post Up, I hope you're feeling better, brother. I know he wasn't doing so hot. It's good to see you in the chat, and of course, Mr. Joy in the Dark, and so many people. I can't count how many people are in the chat right now. It's just too many. It's too many. So no, okay. Continue on the train, Everborn. Let me of the whole combat system thing, because like I honestly think and while you.
So here's the thing. I don't want to comment the combat because the combat is like really good. It's really complex.
Good. Yeah.
And like you can actually get overwhelmed with all the things they throw at you. I find myself having to go back to the skill tree to remember how to do certain things. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but like I don't want to come off as saying like they didn't try on this thing.
This is just gonna be the show of super chats, bro. I'm just gonna sit there and just talk to the people, and they just gonna keep hitting us with slanderous super chats. Slow-mo backslap. The man is here with a $5 super chat saying, I can super chat my slander, aka truth bombs of Everborn and Sonic now. They should have never given you ninjas money. Thank you.
I was thinking of that Dave Chappelle skit.
I remember that.
Hide your money. There's poor people around. No, we can't. We're not going to say that. Anyway,
we ain't going there.
The point is, so the combat is great. It's a great, continuation. I feel like I was expecting more, and that's on me. That's not on them. But the real thing that I'm noticing, and I thought it was nothing when I heard people complaining about it. I thought they were nitpicking, but I think it highlights something where the hints that they give you, the unprompted hints, and
it's annoying.
It's not that. Well, yes, but oh no, it's Alex said something on one of his videos the other day, and it was about story. Because Neil Druckmann said this thing that he enjoyed what Elden Ring did in terms of lore as a versus story and telling a story through the environment, and people got upset with that. But this sort of formula, and it seems we're going further with it, is the best way to tell a story. For you to be going through the game and then you have a companion or multiple companions so that they can have a conversation to drop the lore on you instead of trusting you to pick up what you need to pick up about the history of the world.
In a post Elden Ring world, you don't like the hand holding anymore.
It's not even to do with Elden Ring. I'm just saying, like, I'd never thought about it that way, but it really feels like a crutch to deliver a story where it's just people having a conversation as you play through the game.
As you walk through the game. It's almost like a very loose, clearly, but almost walking simulator because you don't
I don't
want
to call it that because that takes away from the stuff that they did.
No,
I'm just talking about the storytelling tool.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It happens around you rather than you affecting it. It happens around you.
Show don't tell, right?
Yeah.
So as video games are evolving as a storytelling medium, right? Then you get a pass when you're early on, but as you evolve, you have to be more complex, and we judge you on different standards, right? And so if we're going to take you seriously, not saying you're just a good story for a game, but you're actually a good story.
Yeah.
Show don't tell comes into play, right? Yeah. And I feel like with your walking companion just telling you the story, I feel like we're breaking that rule that we know is very clear for other mediums, which is show don't tell.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, as we evolve the storytelling medium,
you wanted more BioShock-like storytelling rather than what they have. And you know what I'm saying?
No. Because this is sounding like I'm coming at Ragnarok. I'm making a larger point. I don't want to make it about Ragnarok because then
just in general. Yeah.
In general, I think that we have, like, I think Elden Ring is too far in the other direction, is where it's like, we're not going to tell you any story, right? And again, I think you failed once you have to go to YouTube explainer videos to understand the lore.
So are you now, are you telling me that the game of the year, Elden Ring, where literally you needed YouTube explainers,
you need a YouTube explainer just to play that game. Forget about the
That's
story.
the point. That's the point.
Listen, and I can say that, and it's still one of my favorite games of all time.
Absolutely.
But forget about me. We have DL Cologne.
Yes.
In
Well,
the chat.
let's get back to the super chat. I told you this is gonna be the super chat show, I suspect, because first and foremost we have Mr. Pixelbit G with the $5 saying, "Oh, this is a thing now? Well, fancy. Congratulations, my brothers. Well earned. Thank you, sir. And you have been on this show many a times, and I will credit you for getting us there. So we would really appreciate your continued support. And you will be back on in this year, because we can't have a show without the man Pixelbit G. Thank you so much. And Post Up also leaving a $5 super chat saying, "Congrats on 1K and keep up the great work. Thanks for the support regarding my well-being. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking." Yep, keep doing good, brother. We heard you. We during that time we had a couple of community members that were worse for wear, and it was just really sad to hear. So we appreciate you being back on your feet. It's good.
And Post Up was still reporting the ABK news while he was dealing with that.
What it is.
They hated him for it because it was info positive of the deal going forward.
What it is.
But we don't want to talk about that. Right.
And then,
we
course,
appreciate you, Post Up.
Of course. Oh, is that thing cut off? I need to fix that thing. It's a little cut off here. We have DL Cologne saying congratulations with the $5 super chat, saying congratulations on the 1K. Hope you two gentlemen are having a great 2023 so far. Everborn, have you read my book yet? Much love, gentlemen. Have you read the man's book yet?
I have his book right here, and I have.
Okay.
It's on my list. Mm-hmm. It's on my list.
It's on your list as what? To be read, or
on the list to be read? Yes.
Okay.
I got to give him a review. Okay. I got Ramon Tyrell's books right here also. Like, I got everybody's books.
There you go. So how about one of these days we're gonna have to sit down and do a book club, right? We'll do a community book club. I'm saying, like, there's a lot of good books in this community.
Me, you, and Rand should put together a channel in slow-mo for the fantasy book club.
Hey, I'm there for it, brother. I'm always down for more content. You know how it goes. Yes, but okay. Let us move forward as far as this gaming discussion is concerned. I will say, just to button up the whole the idea of combat specifically, I felt like they spent so much time. It seemed to me that they spent so much time fleshing out Kratos' combat that for Atreus, it never really hit the same level of complexity, and then they overcompensated by making him a little OP. Like, moves that would be nothing to Kratos kills a character if you're doing it with Atreus. And it felt like arrows meant nothing when you're playing with Kratos, but by himself, he can take a couple arrows and, like, murk anybody. I was like, come on now, it's a little much. You know what I mean? It felt overcompensated for me. But again, I haven't really gotten through all the parts of the game yet. I'm still loving the story because the boy stuff is catnip.
I'm not finished with the game, but like,
sure,
obviously Kratos is going to be more complex because Atreus is a side character, right?
Of course. Well, but they're kind of and spoilers.
I'm just saying most of your time in combat is with Kratos, so he obviously
for sure,
has to have more moves.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. Besides that, anything else that you've been getting into?
No, that's it right now. I'm just trying to get, I don't want to say, like, I'm giving Ragnarok the time, but I'm trying to, you know what slowed me down? And this is completely unrelated. I spent the last 2 weeks watching a show called Dark on Netflix.
Okay.
And that has slowed down my Ragnarok gameplay. Now,
interesting.
In the chat, you guys tell me if you have watched Dark. This may be the most confusing show I have ever seen. And I'm saying that positively, right? You literally, and I'm not joking, you're going to think I'm being facetious, but you cannot watch Dark without a notebook to understand who's who and what's going on.
Okay.
That
is odd.
Okay. because it is a time travel show.
Okay.
And it is about people caught in a time loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people go back in time to become the mother of their mother. That's how crazy it is. And you're following these people in 5 different time periods, and you have to track who is what person from what time period.
Because different
and then
characters
what time
play
period them. Have they traveled into, and who
different
is
actors
playing
parent. Them? Is that the?
Yes.
Okay, I get it. That's weird. Okay,
and
is it worth the watch?
And it's not just one character that you're trying to track. Literally the whole town, because there's like a wormhole that's inside of a cave, and anyone who finds it.
Am I wrong, or are you spitting a bunch of spoilers right now?
I'm not. That's like the whole like you'll get that in like by the second. What do you call it? But yes, it is ridiculous in its complexity. This is also the same people who made 1899.
I was just about to ask you. Like, you told me to watch 1899. I finished watching it. I'm like, yo, this is great. And then they canceled it as soon as I finished watching it. I'm like, son of a.
So it's from those people.
Okay.
And 1899 is way less complex than if that tells you anything.
If that tells you
anything.
So
this again, the show is good.
Mm-hmm.
It is just the most complicated show I've ever seen. If you think following George R.R. Martin stories are complex with your following all around, it is if you're reading in the book. It's easy if you have the visual of the characters from the show.
But the books
talk to anyone who has read A Song of Ice and Fire before the show came out.
Not before.
But have you read it before the show?
No, not before. I read it after. Yeah.
So this is the thing that a lot of people don't get about that story. If you have the visual of having watched the show and you know what each character looks like, so you remember their names, going back, like reading the book before you had that visual aid is damn near impossible, because characters will go away for a whole book and just come back, and then you have to remember who and when they were.
Slow-mo, yes, big facts. He says Netflix cancels everything. It's getting sad now. Oh yeah, that to you too. I always have to turn off my devices before I start talking around here. Otherwise,
and beast mode. It's more than four timelines though, because they do in season 3. They start going back to the late 1800s.
You see, and this specific reason, and the fact that The Last of Us Part 1 is coming out, is why we need to bring on the reel back. That's what needs to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. Everborn Saga.
And Avi, 1899 is in several different languages, so it's not dubbed, and it's subtitled. But German isn't the only language. It's English, German, Korean, Spanish, and they don't. It's not one of those shows where everyone happens to speak English or whatever. They all speak their native languages, and that's why there's so many subtitles.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on, because we're still talking games, but we're gonna head to news a little bit and continue talking games. Before we do that, though, let me ask you to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. We're actually going to start also investigating channel memberships and all these other new worlds that are open to us. I just don't want to just turn it on for the sake of turning it on. I want to give you guys some incentives, make it cool. So I'm gonna be reaching out to awesome community members like Slow Mo, like Boom, like all those others who have great communities, and getting some pointers before I turn that stuff on. So. For now, please.
There will definitely also be a Charge Them More t-shirt here.
Yeah, because Everborn insists that is his requirement. We need a Charge Them More t-shirt. Yes, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get very, very interesting with all this stuff. But we're starting small and let the upgrades flow as organically
and
as
last,
we go along.
Last on the real topic, I think Netflix needs to take a measured approach to. Either binging or week to week. It depends on the show and it depends on the story, because there are a lot of stories that are written to take advantage of the binge model, right? Like, so for example, we were just talking about Dark. You can't watch Dark week to week. You would never be able to keep up, and you wouldn't remember who was who and what was going on. You have to watch. You have to watch Dark in a condensed sitting.
It has to be
Whereas
a binge show.
I think Dark, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about Stranger Things, I think Stranger Things should definitely be week to week, right? Because of the way it's written. People write
it's written
their
for water
shows-
cooler stuff. Yeah.
Right. If they're gonna go week to week, you have to write the shows differently. Because the whole thing about binging is that the shows are written like novels, right? And you don't have to end everything on a cliffhanger and artificially design your script that way. You can just continue it. So sure, I think some things do warrant week to week once you get those megaton shows, but not everything, right? Ozark could do week to week. Stranger Things week to week, but not everything. We don't want that.
So before we get into the news proper, Cat Daddy Lurk got me with this one. He's like, congrats on the 1K. Here's a quote from one of our greatest thinkers. When you want to do something, do it right away. Do it when you can. It's the only way to live a life without regret. And what's the thinker that came out with that? Sonic Adventure.
You damn right. There's a reason I like Cat Daddy Lurk.
Y'all are crazy.
You damn right.
I'm listening to you. I saw that chat. I almost fell out of that shit. Thank you guys so much. This is pretty hilarious. Okay, so let's move to game. Let's some game news topics proper. But as you'll see, this is still kind of within the gaming space, within the gaming realm. I wanted to play Callisto Protocol, and I bought it, and I've been playing at it dribs and drabs here
Full
and
price?
there. I actually bought it on sale on PC because that's where you get the good sales on PC.
Okay.
Back when
we're gonna talk
consoles,
about PC and the tech drop.
yeah, we're gonna do it. Back when the console versions were still full price, Callisto had dropped I think like $30 on PC at some point. So I saw that in a deal and I picked it up. But as you can see from the title proper here, you know, from the news story here, Callisto Protocol massively underperformed, right? And yeah, this is of course also on the backdrop that, you know, when Callisto was initially mentioned or initially showed off and it was having a lot of hype in the community, people were talking about, oh, maybe Game Pass. And I forget the name of the Glenn Schofield came out, and I wouldn't say he dashed it, but he kind of came out and said, if I'm not mistaken, the broad strokes were that for a single player game like they were trying to make, it didn't seem like Game Pass would have been a good fit for them, right? And here we are now, unfortunately, where it underperformed massively. It cost, I think, way more to make than it actually sold. So now people are just kind of like taking victory laps.
Well, I do want to talk about this. And
please, yeah, speak on it. Have you played it, by the way? Have you? Are you planning on playing it?
Because I'm waiting for them to fix the Series X version, ray tracing and all that.
They already have.
They have.
To my understanding, a recent patch has come out, and it's even Steven now. Yes.
Okay. So and
chat, please keep me honest.
I will,
if it's not even Steven yet, please let me know. But to my understanding, the latest patch has corrected.
So if they have fixed it, I will pick it up because I think it'll be good to play that and Dead Space Remake at the same time, because Dead Space Remake is next on my list. So pairing those together, I think will be good. So I'm definitely 100% going to pick it up. The question is when, and I'll probably get it right after Ragnarok or right after Dead Space Remake. That being said, so the thing to think about that, they're saying it cost $160 million to make, and that I don't even know if that includes marketing, right?
I doubt it includes marketing.
Now what? And they said they only sold around 2 million so far.
Yep.
Which is not terrible, but again, when you have $150 million budget, that could be a problem, and I'll tell you why. If you've only sold 2 million, right? We're doing idiot math right now because there's a lot of other factors. But that at $70 a pop, that's under $100 million. That's like 98 million. And we know they got some money from Sony, and we know money could have come in from other places, and we don't know if marketing is included in that budget. But we're just doing rough numbers.
Sony helped them get to the finish line.
Right. But that is around 98 million if you call it $70 a pop. Somebody keep me honest in the chat with the math, right? Which means you have to take out a 30% cut for all the platform holders. 30% for Steam, 30% for Xbox, 30% for PlayStation. And where does that leave them, right? So hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be like 140 minus 30%. That'll leave you with under 100 million. So if not taking into account any of those other things, they're effectively, as it stands today, 50 million in the hole, 40 or 50 million in the hole, right? That's scary, right? And the problem is, what message does this send to Crafton?
Yep.
Right? And again, people want to blame Glenn Schofield. If you have $100 or $200 million game, Xbox is not giving you enough money to cover that, because it's not going to be worth it to Xbox. They don't own the IP. It's not driving people to the platform.
And by the way, thanks for keeping me honest. iMill in the chat is saying that it's still not even Steven. RT on the Series X is still trash. So I stand corrected. They did fix certain things. I guess they're not even Steven quite yet. But continue, sir.
Right. So, but that's why I didn't get it, right? Because you're not going to take $70 from me and you didn't prioritize the platform I wanted to play it on. Yeah. Right? I could get it on the PlayStation, but I don't feel like it. And I'm the one spending my money, so F you. Right? So you're going to patch the game where I want to play it. Now, so my thing is, that's a lot of money you have to recover, especially considering the 30% take that the platform holders have, because you're not the platform holder. See, when Sony spends $200 million making a game, they're keeping 100% of the sales on PlayStation. They put it to PC later, sure, but they are driving people to their ecosystem who will now spend other money in there, and now you're getting a 30% cut of everything else that they have. And it also doubles as a marketing budget when you have those high profile titles. But when you are, so it makes sense for Sony because they're the platform holder. When you are not the platform holder, spending that kind of money gets difficult. You have to have a hit. And so I don't blame him for what he said about Game Pass because of the budget of that game.
Because his situation, of course,
right,
100%.
And we also have to be clear, they had a marketing deal with Sony, so they probably legally, contractually couldn't
really
put it
say
on Game
anything.
Pass.
That's right.
But even if they could, unless Microsoft was willing to recoup all the costs, make them whole for every sale they would have lost on Xbox, which could have been tens of millions of dollars or more, then it just doesn't make sense. And that's fine. It's totally okay if service games and smaller games go into Game Pass and your AAA experiences come from the platform holder, because they have other ways to amortize that, right? And I'm saying this to say I'm not on board with the pointing fingers saying you should have put it on Game Pass. You shouldn't. You don't know how much that thing costs to make, and it may not make sense for them. Again, I'm not saying AAAs don't make sense for streaming services. I'm saying the AAA big budget game is, for it to make sense, probably has to come from the platform holder, because there's, again, other ways to amortize that cost. So let's not pile up on them.
No, I don't think piling up is a good idea. Absolutely, yeah.
The other scary thing is, what message does this send to everybody else? Does this say, listen, we're not going to spend $150 million on a single player game because it's too risky?
It's too risky. Yep.
Does Crafton now say, if we're going to spend that kind of money, it has to be some service game, right? And that's the thing. That's why I was hoping this thing did well, because it gives other people incentive to do more of them. And I want to see more Callisto Protocols, and I want to see them evolve that. But I don't know.
IMIL has no sympathy for Callisto Protocol.
I listen,
So,
man. They didn't prioritize the Series X, and that's why I didn't get my money. So in a way, I'm with you.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I played a little bit of it. I don't tend to be a horror game dude, but the graphics demanded my attention. It's beautiful looking. Like, oh my God, just graphically it demands your attention. But yeah, it still needs a lot of work. It really does. So like you, I'll probably kind of downplay it a little bit. I'll just kind of put it in the back burner until I hear news that it's gotten much better, and then we can probably take another look at it. But okay, let us move forward and talk about another crazy bit of news. It seems like in the 2023 times that we've started, it's just been gloom and doom left and right. So the next one here is, and I don't know how well versed you are about this story, but Playground Games and Playground Games and EA devs leaves to form their own studio. Now, the top of the line take on this is, I don't know if you know Mike Brown. Have you heard of Mike Brown?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think the best person to actually speak on this would be Fuzzy Belvedere, because he follows this very well. But I will say this. I will say this. In my best Cameron voice, people need to start studios every day, B. Right? Like we're pretending this is some kind of indication of anything else. He shipped the game he was working on. He was not working on Fable, and now he's going to start a new studio.
We're cutting it off at the pass. At the top.
Okay,
top
explain
level.
The story. I'll get to the narrative around.
Yeah. So basically, after shipping, and he was the game director of Forza Horizon 5, and I think he was either the assistant or he was on his way to becoming the game director, and he helped with 4, and then 5 he took over the reins, and Mike Brown did, and he is a founder of Playground Games, and now he has decided to step away from Playground and start his own studio, and in doing so, he has taken, I think, 6. Let's see here. If you guys see the screen here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folks from Playground Games total that have left to start their own studio, and then a few other folks have been poached from EA as well. Right now we can.
That's
start
how
talking
Obsidian was started. That's how
Treyarch became
a lot of
all of
that's
that.
how studios start. You find your colleagues. Hey, because listen. As a person, as a business owner, as a person of entrepreneurial spirit, you don't want to spend your entire life making somebody else rich. If you have Amy Hennig,
all that. Yep.
If you have the talent to run a project and you can secure funding, why would you continue to throw money into somebody else's coffers?
Here's the interesting.
You want to do it for yourself. Make the money for yourself. There's nothing wrong with this.
Interesting hypothesis that I heard around it, and I wish I remember who said it to give them credit for it. But think about it. Playground Games was sold to Microsoft 4 years ago. Assuming that the founders and the OG employees all had shares in the company, they're probably at a place now. Well, and when you're a founder or you're part of the group, when you're sold, there's usually contractual obligations that keep you there for a certain amount of time. 4 years ago, so potentially this is when the contract is ended, and his wallet is looking pretty deep if he had shares of that company that was then sold to Microsoft. So all that could lead to the idea that, hey, now I want to take my ideas, because if you really read through the back and forth that Mike Brown did some interviews, he had some loftier goals. He maybe was tired of making the same kind of game, because I heard Slow Mo say this on the show. Like, I was with him on Crossfire yesterday, and people came for him or were trying to come for him, but I kind of agree. Like, they have been refining that Forza Horizon formula for a while now, right? They have been refining it. So the differences in the numbers rise in the quality, but not really in the content, right? It's a different landscape, but it tends to be the same for
Forza.
Exactly where I was going. Maybe he's tired of refining that stone over and over and over and over again, even though we love the increases between Forza Horizon 3 and 5. Oh, wow, look at how great the uplift was. To somebody who's churning that same butter, it might get very, very repetitive, right? So there's some ideas there. But I do want to have a conversation about the idea that while a game is being made, and we don't know what the ramifications are, what will be in all of this, 6 individuals from one studio at the same time, that will hurt a little. Do you disagree?
But again,
no. I just want to. I'm not saying it's gonna derail anything. I'm not saying it spells gloom and doom.
I know, let me answer the question.
But 6 at the same time is a little bit eyebrow raising.
After you've already shipped your major product and the DLC, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, they're ramping up now to do wherever Forza Horizon goes next. Okay. That's the perfect time to go where it doesn't like mean anything. And again, you don't want to spend your life making somebody else rich. So if you have this opportunity, you do it. That being said, right? The only thing that I would say is something to keep an eye on. They're opening up their studio in the same town as Playground Games in wherever in
poaching.
Yes, right.
I bet you more will leave for that studio.
Right, because this is the thing, right? Like if you're opening up right there, you can say, hey, come work with your former coworkers that
Isn't
you
that
like.
exactly what Microsoft did to the initiative in Santa Monica Studios and all that? They opened it right next door and poached a bunch of them. They definitely did that.
And a lot of people went back to where they were from. So that could very well happen for Forza, right? If they go over there and things don't go well. But I think I'm in full support of this move, right?
Sure, yeah.
For him as a human
I bring it up because of the narratives that have been.
Yeah, but those narratives are stupid. We're not in the middle of development of the next Forza. They're in the beginning stages of whatever the next Forza 6 is or whatever they're doing. Play
says Matt Brown is not Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is not Tom Brady. Let's be clear right now, right? He's no longer Tom Brady. He's just the man formerly known as Tom Brady. But okay,
so
continue.
like if this was happening when Forza Horizon 6 was about to come out, then you raise your eyebrows. Right now, this is the perfect time to do something, and it's the most amicable, right? So I don't think that this is the time where we raise eyebrows. Yeah. But we do need to keep an eye to see how many more of his former coworkers he can lure over there.
On that
because again,
point, I suspect
you're not asking someone to go and leave town and work someplace else and uproot their life. You're saying, listen, this is already the town you worked in. I'm across the street. You can come work on something that's not Forza, right?
Exactly.
So that's a thing to look out for, but this is not really news to me at this stage. And anyone making it into that is kind of ridiculous. Now, if he was working on Forza, on Fable, then we say, okay, hold
the Fable
on,
team has nothing to do with this.
But they shipped the game and they shipped the DLC. That's the time to move on, and that's the time where it causes the least disruption. So I'm sorry, it's much to do about nothing. And anyone making it into something are the people who want it to be something.
Yeah, I tend to agree with your take, although I do still contend that at the same time, so many folks leaving, it is a little that if nothing else, it speaks to the fact that maybe that studio should be a bit more dynamic. Well, hear me on this. They were dynamic in allowing Fable, for instance, to be a thing that Playground Games makes, right? Maybe with obviously it happens every day, right? But with so many folks going, yeah, I'm following Mike, right? It may speak even a little bit to the point that those folks that are there are getting burnt out and they want that new challenge. So if you don't want them to leave in mass, maybe start making sub-teams that make smaller things. Yeah, you did Fable. Fable's great. But maybe, just like the Coalition, you hear they're making a little thing here. Give them more dynamism and you might retain them a bit more.
How many employees does Playground have?
At this point, last I checked, it was 207.
And 6 of them left.
6 of them left, yes.
Out of 207.
Well, but remember, 207 is not. They're not. Listen carefully. This is not 207 developers, right? This is not 200, and I don't know the breakdown. And a studio has a lot of
12 developers and 6 of them left. What are we doing?
That's different.
What are we doing?
We have artists. There's a lot more. But the point is, and remember, the 207 are
Mike Brown.
No. Hold on. The 207 are both the Forza team and the Playground and the Fable team. All of them is 207. The whole team. So you don't know the breakdown.
Yeah,
so
and IDOS is helping them. All I'm saying is Mike Brown. He took a QA tester, an HR person, a lawyer, and one designer. And now we're like, is this a cause for concern?
And my 207 was from last year. Beast Mode says that right now they're probably close to 3. So there you go.
Oh, well. 293 now. So, what are they going to do? The next Forza might be in trouble.
It might be in trouble. All right. Moving swiftly along to other weird news in the world. Ubisoft, ubiquitous software, for those who know, is turning out to be less ubiquitous. It's turning out to be a little less ubiquitous these days. It seems that Ubi is canceling projects left and right, and once again has delayed Skull and Bones. Like, they delayed Skull and Bones, like, what was it, a week ago? Not even. So, did this hit your radar? Do you care? What did you think of when you heard this news?
I mean, Ubisoft as of late has kind of been a little bit of a laughingstock, right?
Oh man.
No, I mean, every time we talk about them, it's like, oh my god, copy and paste. Like literally, they became the punching boy when Elden Ring came out of how not to do maps. And people are talking about their just fetch quests and all that. Like Far Cry is the example of why people say they don't want to hear something's going open world. Like all those things between Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and Watch Dogs, they have become the example of how not to do things. And anybody can come in and tell me I'm wrong. But when we talk about these things, they're like, oh, I hope it's not like it was literally a sigh of relief that Redfall is gonna well, no, that's the wrong example, but no, because they're saying Redfall is going to be more like Far Cry, but people were upset with that because they were like, we don't want Far Cry. So I say all this to say, okay.
He's threading the needle carefully.
I'm threading the needle based on certain things that I have
that you may not to, yes may not necessarily want to continue. Yeah.
So the question is, the first place that my mind goes is the finances of all this, right? Yeah. And we have heard a long time ago that Tencent has taken a 5% stake in Ubisoft, and then they've taken a large stake in Yves Guillemot's, the family business, which owns an 18% stake in Ubisoft, right? So Tencent's heavily invested, but we do come to this conversation of, is Ubisoft on the chopping block? Do they look like food, right?
I mean, how many Segas are they worth these days?
Well, so not even one, believe it or not, right?
See, and those who don't know, we count money here, we count worth here by how many Segas.
Right. So at right now, as of Friday, the stock actually went up, but that is only because it was severely discounted earlier in the week when the financials came out. But right now it's valued at 3.2 billion, right? Ubisoft, a company with 20,000 employees and $5 billion IPs, right? Is 3.2 billion. And earlier this week they were 2.8 billion when the news first came out.
They were minus a Sega.
Right? And I'm saying this to say, if your company has an M&A division, right? I don't care who you are, whether you're Microsoft, Sony, Tencent, you name it, your M&A division has to do their due diligence on this because it is massively discounted. Now, there's
I'm going to take a page. I'm going to take a page out of Lord Cognito's book and say, are you implying that the buzzards are now circling overhead, sir? Is that what you're doing?
Well, the problem is the buzzards may not want them, right? Just because you're food,
they may go, this
food.
Is not caviar. I think I will pass on it.
Right? So again, but I do want to explore this idea. Again, this is purely speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Do not take anything I'm saying as an endorsement of this or whatever. But I do think everyone is looking to at least see if it's worth it. And even Jeff Grubb has said that they have been doing the rounds of, hey, partner with us or buy us or
Hey,
whatever.
I
And
appreciate the words of Darth Kermit that just put it in the chat real quick. 20K employees and 3.2 billion net worth. This company might be going through bankruptcy. Time to short the stock. You know, a lot of mouths to feed and not enough money to go around.
But now hear me out, right? Again, I am just using analytical brain, so and I want to hear from the chat what they think. And let me get through the thought before anybody jumps
speak on it.
down my throat.
I can even
Now,
I
I'm
can do
talking
a
to
Q&A.
the chat. I'm not even talking to you.
No, I can do a Q&A. I can do a poll if you want. We got all these tools now, baby. Let's go.
So here's the thing. Let's say the CMA and the EU don't go Microsoft's way.
Oh, here we go.
Right?
He's already wearing his tinfoil hat, ladies and gentlemen. He's already wearing the Everborn tinfoil hat. Let's go.
But let's say they don't go Microsoft's way and they decide, it's not worth it, right? Yes, you got to pay Activision $3 billion, but what's $3 billion among friends?
Among friends, among people who will eventually give you exclusivity deals. Continue.
Now, you add another $3 billion to that, and at Ubisoft's current valuation, especially what it was earlier in the week, 2.8, which it may dip back down to that. Especially since they're projecting a loss of like $500 million, right?
Yeah.
And they say they're gonna make it back up in the following year, but that's where we are now. You could potentially buy Ubisoft for less than Sony paid for Bungie.
So not only are you not worth a Sega, you're not even worth a Bungie, who has one great IP. Oh boy.
Now again, just let me thread this needle,
please.
Yeah, Ubisoft. Sorry, Beast Mode 10 says Eve may not sell. You'd be surprised what you do when you're facing chapter.
When your back is against the wall, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got some words for Eves, but continue. I have a little bit of a rant that I want to get on. Go ahead.
So the thing is this: if someone like a Microsoft were able, if it wanted to go down this road, Ubisoft would be a good PR blitz to say, hey, we didn't get Activision because Sony's a hater, but look at this, we picked up Ubisoft. And how does this make sense, right? Because everybody's gonna say 20K employees, oh my god, what are you gonna do with them? Ubisoft having 20K employees with their 5 IPs is very different from Microsoft, who has 23 studios who are all working on projects and need support studios. It's very different if you are under the Microsoft gaming fold, because you could put all those people to work with ZeniMax and Xbox Game Studios to be their support studios, while at the same time, right? While at the same time, the non-support studios can actually take the time to flesh out the next Far Cry.
I will give you a point on something though. Like, say what you will about UB, and I have, and I will. One thing they know how to do is deliver. You don't complain about their bugs. Yes, they've had some in the past, but they actually deliver. Yes, they're derivative.
About the blandness, right?
Yes, they're derivative. They copy all of that, right? But at the beginning, most of the time, at the beginning of any kind of console generation, when Valhalla showed up, for instance, they are on point. Who was there when Xbox Series X launched? Valhalla. Who was there when the Stadia launched? Ubisoft. They are there whenever anything launches, and they usually have content to back it up. And it's not like, shovelware content. They really deliver. So now the context of the content, that definitely needs more upgrades.
What I'm saying is, if you put the support studios to work so they're not burning resources on IPs that are not going to give you the return you want, You could put them out to, instead of hiring out all of the support studios that Microsoft currently hires out, you could put all those support studios to help the 23 studios that you do have, right?
Okay.
So that's very different than Ubisoft having to continue paying those union employees. Now, you do that, and then the main studios like Massive and the other big studios that Ubisoft has, you give them the time to flesh out and filter out the next Assassin's Creed. Now imagine Valhalla if you had, let's say, the motion capture tech attached to it from Hellblade 2. Imagine if you took the time to tell that sort of a story, and you don't have a fetch quest that is designed to keep you in the game for 1,000 hours. I'm saying you could take your time on the IPs that people do know, and those IPs would be very good fits. Imagine Sam Fisher coming back. And again, this sails through with regulators.
Stop playing my heart, man. Stop playing my heart.
This sails through with regulators in 4 to 5 months. Probably doesn't get a phase 2. Why? Ubisoft, you can't make the same arguments that you make for Activision. Ubisoft doesn't have any games in the top 10 that you could claim are market movers. So this comes down the same way that ZeniMax and Bungie came down, which is these IPs are not large enough to be market movers, so we don't care if you make them exclusive, right? And again, they focus in on their core competencies. The main studios, the support studios help all your other studios, and you bring back Rayman, you bring back Sam Fisher. You have a good story for Watch Dogs, Far Cry, and Assassin's Creed. All your Tom Clancy stuff. You bring back. I'm not saying bring back, but you hone in on Rainbow Six, turn that into a large service, and you don't have the same performance metrics because you have Game Pass. And again, you're buying them at a massive discount.
True. So
and you're bringing in 20,000 employees to wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, clip it. Things. Everborn Saga says, ubiquitous software, Microsoft's next target. You heard it here first. Ubiquitous software. It's gonna be ubiquitous
saying,
Microsoft.
if they can't get Activision, that's an easy pickup.
It may be a quick
easy
quick
W,
pivot.
and you now have 20,000 employees working on Xbox IPs. And by the way, all those things go exclusive immediately. Like it's the ZeniMax treatment, right? Unless you're a certain game, you are going exclusive, and we don't even have to pretend otherwise.
The chat is not with you, sir. The chat is not with you.
I'm not saying they should buy them. I'm saying it might make sense. And by the way, if they were to buy Ubisoft instead of Sega, I'm just switching to PlayStation. I said this to Pixelbit G in the DM. That does just mean they'll buy anybody except Sega at that point if they pick up Ubisoft instead of Sega.
And it feels somehow every time they choose someone else except for Sega, it feels like Everborn Saga missing that rose. Damn it! Why? Like, what's going on? Like, why is it that it seems that you get so bent out of shape, almost as if secretly you own Sega or something? Why is it that they refuse to choose me over and over again?
Like, I'm right here, man.
I'm right here, baby. But no, I do hear you. I do hear you that it is interesting time for all this to be happening, and I'm sure somewhere some Xbox / Microsoft employees just like kicking themselves that they may be locked up the way they are right now.
One thing, East West. I know we're saying like. I think we're in this fog of war with this ABK deal where we think, big tech is gonna get blocked with anything they do, but the data doesn't show that. Like Activision is the largest purchase in video game history, right? And it is one of the largest tech purchases in history, right? Not the largest, but one of the largest. That's why it's getting all of this scrutiny. You like Microsoft was just able to close Nuance for $20 billion under the Biden administration's FTC
Yep.
without any sort of backup. Again, that's not gaming, but the point is that's a big tech company. Even Lena Khan's FTC had to watch Amazon buy MGM because they didn't have any case. Why? Because
East
it was
West
so
is
small.
being slanderous in the chat. He says Will Smith, why he don't want me, Everbone Saga? Oh, man.
Somebody should make a Sonic meme like that. No, so but the point is, you cannot make those same arguments, and it's not like, yes, big tech bad, but the reason the Activision deal is getting so much scrutiny, even though I believe some of this is unwarranted, it's getting so much scrutiny because it's so large, and you cannot make any of the arguments. If you actually,
so what you're saying, okay,
if you actually read the concerns placed by the regulators, it is all based on the size of Activision. And look at the market presence that it would give them. And they're all using sales charts, they're using number of players, and Ubisoft or Sega do not meet any of those thresholds. And
so I want to understand what you're saying. You're saying, what you're basically saying is, and I can see where you're going. You're saying is that the reason why Microsoft has been having such a hard time right now is not because of the bad faith actors coming up with some excuse. It's because the argument that they came up with is actually valid and holds water. And then if they came up with other bad faith arguments, it would not hold as much water. And because of that, the same thing wouldn't happen if they were trying to buy something else that's not at that scale. Is that what I'm understanding?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. That is an interesting point to make.
If Microsoft were buying Capcom instead of Activision, the deal would have closed already.
Interesting. Right? Okay.
It actually is the size.
And Crying Lion, Flying, none of those would suffice. It would have been like, get out of here.
You can read what the regulators have said on other acquisitions for Bungie or for Microsoft.
Okay.
They do not meet the threshold, and they look at what presence these IPs have in the market. And if you don't have the presence to move the market like that, they're not going to stop it. It's not their purview to say you can't have this because you're that. It is, what is the size of this thing? If it's that size, we have to look at it. And that's it.
See, and folks are challenging you in the chat, man. They're challenging you. They're saying right now that the FTC, and this is East West, he says the FTC challenged Meta and Within, which has less than 300 million. Yeah, But then again, context there matters because, like I said on Crossfire yesterday, it's not about Within or even the market. It's that Facebook wants to buy something. I said this yesterday. If Facebook wants to buy a pack of cigarettes, FTC is trying to be upset about that.
Well,
because you're Facebook.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Kind of like Google, but continue.
Here's the thing. Even in that case, you have to look at the argument that they're making, which is this is, again, I think they made up a market here, but even in making up that market, they're saying that Within is the largest VR sports or exercise, whatever it is. Which is like
literally cutting up a piece of pie that's the size of an M&M.
Right, but there's no category with which a Ubisoft game is the number one in that category.
True.
Right?
True. Well, they came up with high performance consoles, so they might also come up with publishers that make more service games than most. You know what I'm saying? Weak sauce, absolute weak sauce. Which is true. They have more service games than most.
I just need someone to explain why Microsoft was able to make the $20 billion acquisition of
Nuance. Of Nuance. Yeah, no, that is a very righteous point. That is absolutely. It is a righteous point. But no, it's an interesting
publishers
thing
that make open world, they wouldn't even hit that list. This is what I'm saying with Ubisoft.
We're trying to come up with new ways of carving it out so that it looks like it matters. Because high performance consoles was just like, huh? What are we talking about here? But hey, it is what it is. Look, it will be interesting, and I suspect this will be tested because Microsoft has already telegraphed that this is not it. This is not the last of it, right? They are going to try and thread that needle again. So we'll see how it comes back again. The last thing I'll say on this is
the reason Amazon was able to embarrass the FTC was what happened with MGM and Amazon was the FTC knew it was not large enough for it to be worth them fighting in court over it. That's why they let Amazon close, and they did not move to put a case to block it. And they just put out a press release saying we could block it anytime later in order to save face. And because you're not going to spend FTC resources to block something as small as a $3 billion purchase for MGM, which does not hold an outsized weight in that market. The judge is going to laugh you out of the court, and it's going to waste your resources. It's going to waste everybody's time. So I think they're going to go after big fish, but I just don't think Ubisoft or Sega or Capcom or anything below 10 billion is going to
rise to that level.
Yeah, it's not going to rise to the level for them to waste the resources on. That's all I'm saying.
I can see where you're going with it. I'm just kind of like, I'm at that point now where there's so much bad faith arguments going around both for those who don't. I didn't even see Mr. Dutch. Salute to the Wandering Dutch, the creator of the awesome intro you heard this morning, and you will hear the awesome outro. The guy who's literally keeping us looking great all the time, moving us forward, whether we asked him to or not, and we appreciate him. Usually I have to run around asking people for help. This man is always available, and I really appreciate you, Dutch.
And I also want to clarify, I have no love for Ubisoft.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Okay. I could see it, and I do think
there is a reason why he calculates everything by Segas. Let's just say there's a reason why he does that.
I'm not like arguing like, oh, they need to do this, or I want Ubisoft. I want them to get Sega, but I'm just talking about. I could see it make sense, and I do not believe that it would be any issue with regulators, and that's a positive. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting. Okay. Well, okay. We will move along. I have two more topics that I kind of want to get into. They're a little bit meatier. But before we do that, first and foremost, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Please consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already to the channel. We're doing our best to keep moving. 2023 started, and we're really, really trying to push forward, and we appreciate all the assistance and all the support that folks keep giving us. Before we head to we still want to talk about Xbox and their Dev Direct. We still want to talk about
last thing from East West. He says if Microsoft cannot get ABK, they are done. It will set a precedent. What does that mean? I need some. Does he mean like there's no more acquisitions if they can't get ABK? I don't know if I believe.
Yeah, even though I kind of see where he's going as far as the regulators are trying to put their line in the sand, like here and no further. You can't really do that because the laws are against them in that, right? Everyone has the ability to try and do that, and then of course they're gonna have to use weak sauce arguments to try and kibosh it like they've been doing now.
Yeah,
but you can't just outright just say no because you don't have the right to do so.
They can't get big publishers. What I'm saying is I agree. But Ubisoft is not a big publisher.
Is not a big publisher. By virtue of their numbers right now, they are humble.
I think anyone, any publisher under $6 or $7 billion is attainable. But
and I think that's the case even now. I think even now, like after the ABK deal closes, whether closes good or closes bad or whatever it happens. I think that the lessons learned here is you won't see them go for Take-Two or anything of that size because it's just too much hassle and it yokes them up for too long while they're trying to get it done. I don't think you'll see that happen anymore. You may see them make more strategic, smaller moves rather than that big purchase that we've seen them do. I definitely do think that this has changed their mind.
When we say big publisher, we're talking about in terms of market cap and presence of IPs and difficulty to acquire for regulators. We're not saying,
but we don't want to, and there will still be more of this conversation because we have a few more to go. But I want to take a quick respite from this conversation. I want to take a quick stop, and I want to talk a little tech
And
because
slow
I
mo,
know.
yes, slow mo. By that's the actual measure that I'm thinking
Yes,
of.
yes, that's the measure. Yes, I want to take a quick respite. Now, quick stop. I know Everborn, you want to have a little bit of a tech drop because you have some ranting you want to do. Before we move off of this point, though, about Ubisoft, last point. Yves Guillemot is ripe for criticism. You know, people have been ripping Bobby K and them apart for their part in how the business is done and how people are treated within their organization, to the point where everybody's like, oh, it is, you know, the human element, as Mr. Boomstick likes to call it. Yves Guillemot is not safe in that. It's just somehow he's been able to hang on. And I mean, I have people that I know who've worked at Ubisoft. Some of the horror stories are ridiculous. He has not been held to account, and because of that,
to that end, I do think it would make regulatory and financial sense for Microsoft, but I do not know that Microsoft has proven that they would be capable of
reining shop.
in Ubisoft and doing what needs to be done there.
Let's see what ABK brings.
That is something to give pause to.
So I have no sympathy for Ubi and Guillemot, because I think if they are ready to move into the future, they need to drop the whole we're a family company stuff and get rid of Guillemot. It's lucky for him that the likes of Bobby K and Activision took all the attention in the room, but in many respects, he deserved that same righteous smoke, and he hasn't gotten it. So I'm sorry there, Ubisoft. I want to see them lose that dead weight. So we'll move from there.
I want to move on from the whole acquisition talk, but I do want to talk about something, and I think this is actually an important conversation to have. So forget about acquisition talk for a while, but broad 30,000 foot view. When we look at what happened with Callisto Protocol, right? Sir. Big budget game, was high profile, single player, not meeting the targets, right? When we see the struggles that Square Enix is having, right, with their RPGs, and now they're talking about
their public crying and the ridiculous moves they make.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is why I do think, whether the regulators like it or not, consolidation is going to happen for this reason.
Yeah.
If even Activision felt like they could not survive on their own, and we see the issues that Square Enix is having, and we see the issues that Ubisoft is having, right? Is it
Play says they should Microsoft should make sad dad games.
Right, but no, but seriously, like, can the traditional publishing model still work for those kinds of games that we know Ubisoft for, and that we know Square Enix for, and that it works for Sony, but even Sony is transitioning to everything they have announced is service games.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Is it, so if you can't capture lightning in a bottle, which is very difficult with a service game, can you survive in this new world without being attached to a mega conglomerate who has other ways of amortizing the costs of what it costs? Because we have much higher expectations, and we see this in the film industry, right? The mid-budget movie is gone.
It's dead.
You're either you're a franchise sequel, or you are a low-budget horror movie, or sort of some niche thing.
Yep.
Or anything in the middle is just on streaming.
Yep.
Right?
Mid-tier movies has gone the way of THQ. They're done. There is none of that anymore. There's either high or nothing.
They
are very low.
But they're a part of platforms.
Yeah, true,
right?
true.
That's
they become part of Netflix.
The $50 million movie is relegated to streaming at this point. So I'm saying this to say, if Activision wasn't safe, of course Ubisoft isn't safe, or Square Enix. And what ultimately is going to happen is these people are going to get gobbled up. Forget about Microsoft. This is a thing that's going to happen because
Amazon's wallet is open. They just haven't really purchased anything yet. So yeah, absolutely.
But so consolidation is almost inevitable.
Yeah.
But furthermore, there was even talk of Amazon buying EA the other day, right?
Oh yeah. So it's still out there. Yeah.
And even forget about consolidation. Just think of the games that, as we all 30 and 40-year-old men and women, we like those single player experiences. And are those going the way of the dodo? Is it just going to be like small, inexpensive AA games or big service games?
And you do realize that is why I still like Game Pass, because I feel like that small AA, I need a quick fix. I don't want to no life a game. Those live on subscription services now. And by the way, a quick aside, guess who with the thumbs is now subscribed to PlayStation Premium until 2025. They gave me a deal I couldn't refuse, so I will be moving forward. I'll be touching base from time to time, letting you know how it looks like on that side, because I hadn't really played with it, but now I have that subscription service as well, so it should be interesting times. But to your point, it seems like that's where those AA experiences, those interesting things that don't require no lifing, that's where they're going to start to live now, because that's the only place they can afford to live. Well, specifically on Game Pass, since they seem to be spending money trying to get them in there, whereas PlayStation is more like purchasing.
I want to be clear though. I'm not saying single player games are dead. And I see Slow-Mo saying Respawn proved them wrong with their Star Wars game. But Star Wars is a mega IP.
Yes.
Right? And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is not enough to carry someone who's focusing on those things. EA is able to do fund a Fallen Order, one, because you can justify it because it's Star Wars, but two, because you have Madden and FIFA every year.
So real quick, Wandering Dutch is saying, I wouldn't listen to Square Enix when they mentioned the sales expectations. They hated their Western studios and sold them. They falsely said the same about Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely. Which both sold under like 10 million units. Like, they came to the game with some false narratives. We all agree with that. That's for sure. Square, come on now. They weren't earnest in their approach. They had a game plan from jump. We saw it coming a mile away. So when they sold off the Western studios, we were like, hence the strategic bad mouthing. You know what I'm saying? So, it is interesting times in how they're moving and shaking. And what is it? What happened in 2023? The first thing you heard about Square Enix? Oh, well, we're still going full bore into cryptocurrency and into what the heck you call it? The what the hell's the name of that buzzword that everybody hates now? The art that you can buy that's singular in its focus. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can buy your own piece of art and it's yours forever and it's blockchain backed. They're still going full bore in that respect. So the blockchain and
right. I do want people to understand what I'm getting at is
NFTs.
That
sorry, yes.
I'm
NFTs.
saying for independent publishers, it becomes very risky,
a little difficult. Yeah.
To do to make the kind of Callisto Protocol investments.
Absolutely.
It makes great sense if you have a subscription service to subsidize that and surface it to a lot of people. Yep. It makes great sense if you're Sony, which you have a track record of doing these things. And again, those single player games will bring people to the platform and they serve as advertisement to bring people into your ecosystem. That makes sense. I am saying when you don't own the platform or you don't own the subscription
if you're a third
service,
party,
I think it becomes more and more risky. And we can point. So maybe Fallen Order is the exception and not the rule, right?
Let's see a single player game that comes out that does not have the narrative backing of, say, a Star Wars, and see like the next big one. Right,
Callisto Protocol. We have an example. That's a new IP. And what did it do?
It did have the pedigree of Schofield. It did have the pedigree of Dead Space. So even that helped it, right? But out of nowhere, single player, new IP, I do see your point that it becomes risky to really bet on that because it's becoming less and less prevalent in the market and gets lost quickly.
And again, I'm saying what we're specifically talking about is the big budget AAA single
and they say high on life. That had Royland's backing, by the way. and
High
he's
on
also
Life
in there.
was in a subscription service, and
True.
it was a smaller budget game.
Oh,
We're
and a quick
talking
aside.
about
A quick aside on High on Life. I wanted to bring this up. I didn't make an official topic about it, but have you heard what's happening with Justin Roiland as of late?
yeah, they're trying to get him on some domestic.
And the reason I bring it up is not to dash or
the reason you bring it up is because we don't want to talk about Dana White.
Well, no. The reason I bring it up is because I suspect that may be why Microsoft is kind of did one of these things, because it feels like they don't necessarily want to associate themselves with that brand, because it's ripe for. I mean, come on, the timing is crazy. He just had the accolades of all accolades, and then a week later, oh, here you go, deadbeat. It's a narrative that's building, which is unfortunate for Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Lucius Augustus, I'm on your train, innocent until proven guilty. It's just, it smears the campaign for him. So now you can't really be full-throated, in your backing on High on Life. Because, the minute you speak on High on Life, this joins that narrative, which becomes problematic.
I don't think I'm explaining myself properly. I am talking
about
Stop
fighting about the chat. Stop fighting with the chat. Stop.
The chat is why we're here, man. We're talking about the big budget single player games, and the risk involved with them.
Yeah.
So High on Life did not have $100 million budget, and I suspect neither did Plague Tale. Right? So, and Elden Ring was like a special thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't see how you can say it has not become more risky to do a single player game.
Oh no, I agree, 100%. I agree. I mean, the fact that THQ died was the canary in the coal mine, telling you that AA, AAA, that AA single player experience was eroding, and now look where we are, right? You don't see that at all. And when anybody tries to strike that iron in that way, it's very risky unless they have a real backing. And obviously, with Glenn Schofield and striking distance and all of that, it proves that maybe it's not advantageous for them to keep going that way. Or it's not to say that you'll never see it again, but you might see less budgeted games. Look at A Plague Tale Requiem. I don't think it had the budget of Callisto Protocol, right? And because of that, they might have worked out better in the long run. And of course, what happened? They were also backed by Game Pass. So all of that inoculates them from the potentials that are happening now with Callisto Protocol.
So GameFire says something interesting. Ubisoft only follows trends and hope that one stick. Now, that's more true than you probably realize. They have a whole division that is literally just to follow trends. And your game does not get greenlit unless you hit the trending metrics.
Yep. Until you go in front of them, you're a creative. And I know this for a fact because I've spoken to people who work there. You go there with your idea, this new thing that's going to change gaming, and they go, that's not what's hot in the streets right now. That's not what the kids are looking for. Get out of here.
Player has brought something up that I think is exactly what I was trying to convey, and he just said it more succinct than I have. If you have a $40 million budget like Control, they're good. $100 million Houston, we have a problem. Exactly. And that's kind of it. And so what I'm saying is the big budget AAA, if that's what your publishing house is based off of, it's going to become difficult in the world that we're going in. Unless you have a bunch of service games to subsidize it. Why is Take-Two okay? Because they have 2K that comes out every year, and then they have GTA 5, which is their big service
owns
game.
The damn world.
And that's most of what they make. They've cut... Take-Two published a lot of games, and that has been significantly reduced.
Look at Ubisoft. They published a lot of games, and now they are the Assassin's Creed
because you're taking big swings means you can have big misses.
Mitigating risks.
If you don't have the big parent company like Microsoft or the platform to back you up like Sony, like you take enough risks.
You have to take sure bets only.
Yeah.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
And that's going to be a problem. And again, if you can't capture lightning in a bottle like GTA 5, if you don't have contracts sewed up like Take-Two and EA for the sports things, then what are you left with, right? And so you're left with Ubisoft and Square, and that's why they are having these things. And remember, we're saying they're like it's their own fault, and yes, it is. But at the same time, while I 100% agree that it is their fault, there's a reason they're doing these pivots, because they're trying to find a lane, and they have not found that lane yet.
Yep.
And I'm just saying that becomes difficult.
And that is the reason why every time new technology shows up, whether it's VR or cloud streaming, Stadia, this and that, who's the first one to back it? Who's the first one there? Ubisoft. They are trying to find their niche, and unfortunately, so far.
But Slow-Mo, you're saying Amazon is funding it. That's Amazon.
That's right.
There's a difference.
You're basically proving his point in what you're saying. But you know what? Let us table this, because I'm sure this will continue to happen as the news stories come on. Let's take a bit of a tech break. You know, you can complain about your tech. I know you're gonna. You can complain, but before you do, let me bring up a small little thing.
Well, before you do anything, Edwin Garcia just left the $5.
Oh, I'm getting used to all these super chats, man. This is a weird world I live in right now. Thank you, Edwin Garcia, for the $5 super chat. He says, "What do you guys think of the low code software tools like Salesforce versus traditional development?"
Well, we actually in the tech drop we're gonna talk about Chat GPT and Midjourney, and we're gonna talk about that because I do think a lot of us are gonna be out of jobs
very soon.
But make your investments now, people.
At the beginning of this tech drop section, let me first and foremost, this is more a PSA from me than anyone else. If folks, for those who genuinely, I'm not talking about the false narrative peddlers, but for those who genuinely have been always questioning, hey, why didn't Microsoft make the Series S? Isn't it the same thing as a PS4 Pro? As they do, Digital Foundry / Eurogamer did a really great breakdown and compared the Series S to the PS4 Pro. And they did that using like-for-like games, because there are a few games out there that are like-for-like that literally released on both. And like they did a amazing break. I saw it yesterday. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I will leave all these things in the show notes, including this one. If you have a chance to, definitely go check it out, because it's a very interesting watch, and it kind of threads the needle and helps explain why Microsoft made the decision they did, even though you wouldn't be like, oh, this is full next gen. They made an entry level next gen system, and when you read and you look into the comparisons really in detail, like Digital Foundry did, you kind of start to understand their decision making process there. Oh, I see oh my goodness, 4 GQ TVs in the spot. Italian Clowns, welcome, sir. I appreciate it. We need to get you on this show one of these days, man. Every time I see that man, I'm like, I really want to get him on the show. He has such awesome takes. I appreciate the content.
Forget about that. I want to get on his show.
That too.
Comic books, man.
That too, for sure. So no, I will leave this Series S versus PS4 Pro thing here as a backdrop for a bit of our tech drop section. Everbone, if you're still around, I know you just went off cam.
No, I'm here.
Start your rant, bro. I know you're going to rant. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I have a rant, but this, I feel like this never should have been required, this comparison. Right?
Oh, no.
It is only because people had this ridiculous narrative.
You know what happened?
The two,
the narrative was peddled,
and people.
And you know what? Sometimes when a bad faith narrative is peddled, it permeates the zeitgeist and gets to people who genuinely are questioning that. Hey, is that really the case?
Bad faith narrative is the only reason this comparison exists. It is ridiculous to compare the thing. Anyway,
no. But still, at the end of the day, if you look from a hardware perspective, there are lots of like-for-like comparisons here as far as what they put in the GPU
except for the main piece of hardware.
Exactly. But the reason why I think this is interesting is you'll even learn that in certain respects, the Series S outshines the PS5 from a technical perspective. But it's interesting. It is very interesting.
Take it easy.
It's super.
I can't deal with the tears in the chat today. Please, just take it easy.
It's very interesting.
Victor Allenstein with a $5 super chat saying,
yeah, read that. What do you say?
Happy New Year and congratulations. I do think Netflix could acquire Ubisoft as their. That's interesting. As their franchise work well as movies and streaming.
Good pull.
You know what?
Yes.
I could see that.
I could see that too. Yes, absolutely. I
Because
didn't even think of that.
This is the thing about Ubisoft. What we used to love them
Or
for.
Amazon, for that fact. They could also do that too. You
I-
know, those with movie houses, TV houses that have aspirations of that ilk could look at this and go, you know, IPs galore.
They do have a lot of narrative-based content. It's even though it does feel like formulaic and throwing everything at the
Imagine Netflix buying them and starting an Assassin's Creed series that's actually good. Hey now, it's a thought. Well done, after Victor Alice. I think you win that round. Good job, sir. That's a good one.
Listen, can you just, because I can't see it from here. How many likes do we have?
Let me check the like ratio right now.
We got 99 people in the chat.
That's amazing. We have 59 likes. We have 59 likes. Please, please.
It's the new year. It's time for new things.
We appreciate you, sir. Yes.
Hit the. Maybe we got dislikes. Maybe that's the problem. Like, can we get some more likes? Can we get the people who are watching now just
see? And I see it climbing now 63. Look at that. Folks are liking. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So anyway, now on to.
So tell me why you want to rant, even though it'll be the problem. I suspect will be between the keyboard and seat. Continue, sir.
Okay, so we're PC apologizing and VR apologizing. Wandering Dots with the $5 super chat, or €5 super chat.
Yes, sir. He says, "Oh yeah, forgot we could do this now."
Yeah, man. Okay,
it's all new for us, sir. Thank you.
I was in the middle of a demo to someone from my art team. Because we wanted to revamp some assets for the Ariel's Adventure game we're working on. And I'm playing the game, and the whole system freezes. I don't mean Unity freezes. I mean everything freezes.
PC went goodbye.
Right. And then I have to hold on to the power button because nothing works. Control-Alt-Delete doesn't work. Nothing happens. I got to hold on to the power button. It power cycles, and it gives me this error saying basically your memory has gone to crap, right?
I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm just gonna leave
Slobo
that
says
in there.
We want more likes. We got to stop talking about Sega.
Yo, this man knows how to derail me. Like seriously, bro.
So, I have 64 gigs of memory, or in my machine, or at the time I had 64 gigs.
It's odd. We built our machines separately. He and I have literally the same machine, but continue. Even the same brand of like components. He and I have the same.
So,
but yes,
it's G-Skill Ripjaw DDR4
has the RGBs
32,
on the cover on the front.
Right.
I have the same sticks. Yep.
So and this is my fault. I bought a pre-built Alienware, so I need to give you guys that info before
with a custom Dell motherboard. Like, get this, and he calls himself a tech guy. Get him out of here. I'm sorry.
Listen, I don't have time for this PC nonsense, right?
You could have at least asked what's in it. Like, get out of here with that.
Listen, it had a 3080. It had the i9.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carlo. Appreciate you. He says, love the convo with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Many
Appreciate
thank yous.
Continue.
So, this machine does not like this memory. Now,
he has a 3080 card. He has awesome RAM and a potato for a motherboard. Continue.
Right. So,
and why do I say it's a potato? Because it costs $30 on eBay right now. I'm sorry. Yes.
It says it didn't, and it would not start. Right. It won't even. It power cycles, and I can't even get to the BIOS screen with this memory. I've had this memory in here for 2 years because as soon as I bought the pre-built, I put this memory in. I took out what was in there, which was the Kingston HyperX 32,
which you're now using now. So you're back to 32 gigs like a troglodyte. Continue, yes.
Because I had that nearby, I keep it in the drawer. I decided to put that memory back in. Starts up fine, no problem. Right? And then I tried.
I'm sorry. We will we will defer to the chat because they know more than we do. We have slow-mo backslap with a $2 super chat saying, Everborn Saga bought a trash pre-built? Oh, I'm shocked. I'm sorry, I used that for effect. Continue, sir.
So anyway, I put in 2 sticks of these with the Kingston memory. Still won't start, right? I've tried every combination you can. This motherboard, after 2 years, and something triggered by me doing a play test in Unity, basically killed this memory. And so now,
and to add a little color to all this, he calls me up. We're like in the middle of the workday. We're troubleshooting this thing, and I'm like giving him absolute crap for all of this, just like I am right now on this show.
So now, I had to put back in the original memory. Works fine, and I ordered another 32 gigs of the Kingston memory to match what was there.
So beast mode. Works. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I wish that was the case. I wish it was his motherboard that was gone, because that is the weakest link in this all of this. It is actually his memory that is gone, because he still has the same motherboard. He just put the Kingston back on, and we're back at it, right? And I was telling him, like, I'm still going to look for it. He doesn't want to change his case. He doesn't want to do all that transplanting. I got to find him a proper motherboard that will still fit in his case. I'm going to look for that.
So,
because the motherboard needs to go. I'm sorry.
No BIOS means motherboard issues, but it's fine. I can get to the BIOS and do everything I put back in the original memory.
If there's no BIOS, you have 3 chances. It's either CPU, it's motherboard, or it's RAM. Or actually 4, or VGA, or graphics. Since through process of elimination, we literally just got them back up and running, and it was definitely the memory, which sucks, you know. I wish it was the motherboard, because that thing needs to go. But continue.
So the joys of
here he goes.
Here and I wasn't gaming. I shouldn't say PC gaming, but PC is
trying to blame the PC instead of the keyboard and the seat.
Suggested that I use another PC in the house, but everyone in the house uses some form of a Surface, whether it's a Pro or a Surface laptop. I'm the only one with an actual PC because, again, I just prefer not to have to think about these things. One of those Surfaces go bad, I take it to Microsoft and say, give me a new one and fix it. They do that, but those don't go bad. It's only this big hunk of a I don't know what thing that's giving the problem. But anyway, no, I didn't overclock the original RAM. I did not, and I didn't. It
was set to XMP, I think
XMP 2,
yeah, which kind of overclocks the RAM just slightly, but it should not have been a problem. But continue.
And we tried turning off XMP and putting the old memory back in, and it just doesn't like it. Yeah. So we'll see what happens when when the new Kingston memory comes here that matches what came with it. That should be here on Tuesday, and I will report back. But to quote a certain meme, ain't nobody got time for all of this.
So all we're saying is, long story short, he's trying to blame PCMR for the problems between the keyboard and the seat. Now think about that for a moment.
Well, but this memory's 2 years old, Pixel.
Sure.
It's out of warranty. I can't.
Who bought that memory?
No. That's not what I'm saying. He's saying send it back because the memory doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
But it's. I suspect this is Dell only wanting you to use what they want you to use with their BS motherboard.
I'm not sure. I think this is more of the RAM, because RAM sticks go bad. It happens. And when this all happened, I actually recommended that he use the memory benchmarking and stressing tool, but he couldn't even get the machine to start up. It's definitely the memory, which is unfortunate because now you got to replace the memory. But you know, in long run, I want him to replace the motherboard as well because it will help him out. You know.
Pixelbit G says file a complaint and let the Better Business Bureau sort it out. And this is the kind of PC stuff I'm talking about. Obvious saying it sounds like I need a whole new PC build.
No.
This is what I'm talking about. One thing goes wrong and now I got to build a whole new PC. This is why we game on console. Anyway.
Well, but at the end of the day, you're the one that chose the motherboard. You chose the PC with the awesome case and the potato for a motherboard. Like, it's beautiful on the outside, POS on the inside.
Beautiful on the outside. I bought it because I
POS on the inside.
I'm just saying. Anyway, this whole process is POS.
Yes.
So, here's the thing.
Mm.
There's another thing I want to talk about in this tech drop, which is this new age of AI.
Oh God! Yes. Hit me with that Mid-Journey stuff.
Right?
Yes. So we fell into that trap. Yes.
So people talk about Web 3.0 as being based on non-fungible tokens and things like that. And I think Web 3.0 is AI, right?
Chat GPT and Mid-Journey and all those.
And there's going to be a million clones of these things, right? Like we saw that thing that was the mobile app where everybody was uploading
Lenza or whatever.
Yeah. It's all of that elk. And so there's two separate conversations to be had, and one is the AI art aspect of it, and again, I have a team of artists that I've been working. Oh, Mr. Inferno Games in the chat. What's happening?
Oh, welcome, sir. Welcome. Appreciate you. Yes.
I hope you hit the like button, Mr. Inferno. Yeah. I'm gonna come to ChatGPT in a second, but the art, my art team doesn't like it.
How so?
Like I because it effectively steals people's art style.
It forces them to step their game up. It's kind of like kind of like Mario. It's kind of like Mario Maker. You can't no longer do that anymore.
I don't think it's that, right? Like, and I'm just telling you what
these are artists an artist's perspective, of course. Yes, right? Yes.
They spend a lifetime trying to hone a style, and
then an AI studies it and then copies the style.
Right, and they're really taking parts of those pictures and kind of redoing it based on what you're asking it. There's something to be said there, because I said, listen, this interests me as a person who kind of works in this field with the comic books and the video games.
Quick iteration.
And I said, not quick iteration for actual art that we would publish, but it does help me
for ideas and all that
for concepting, right? So if I say I have a kingdom that's like this, and I can explain it, and I can get something that is close to what I want, and then I give that to my artist, and I say, well, this is what this city looks like, or this castle looks like, or this character looks like, right? It's not that we're going to use that art. It is that it gives me, because we would waste weeks and sometimes months designing characters and things like that, and that becomes
just so costly. Folks see exactly what we're talking about here. Let me hit you guys with some of the Mid-Journey art while we talk. And this is all generated by AI, not a single hand. These are all generated by explaining to the AI what you want and then watching it generate. Continue.
So and the issue is not where is it, like what I'm using it for, what I want to try to use it for, because we haven't used any of this yet. The issue is, this is where we are today.
Yeah.
What does this technology look like 10 years from now?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you combine this with things like ChatGPT, and it gets a little bit scarier.
Crazy.
So are we going to be in what is going to be art? And you could argue, listen, this can only exist because it has artist's original work. But does it mean that this is taking work away from
and it can combine things that humans can't combine? Like, if you're looking at this, don't only look at it from, oh, it's pretty, but the style. Some of them are photorealistic. Some are very artistic and very, very painterly. Like, some of them are literally looking like a photo. Look at that dog. It is a photo, but it's all generated. Like,
is that comprised of just other dog pictures that they've put together, right? Is it really actually creating? It's not really. Drawing
it's studied. It has studied hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos of dogs, so it has a base idea of dog, right? And then you ask it what you want. You say, I want this, I want that, and it will reference all of that's been in its training and generate one it won't take one that it's seen before, but it'll take the basic essence of all of the ones it's seen and extrapolate for you, to the point where if you want a small variation, it will give you that variation and still be very much
But
what you're
you
looking
can
for.
tell it to do something in the style of a Monet, right?
Yeah.
You can tell it to do something in the style of a Banksy, right?
Yep.
And that part is like
is what scares
you're kind
the
of
artists.
taking people's stuff. But I mean, rightly so, right? And these are people who make their livings off of that. So
absolutely.
You know, we'll see. But for me, it is it's an interesting prototyping tool that we're going to explore it as far as my artists will allow without getting annoyed with me.
Without getting upset with you for trying to replace it with robots.
Right. But now I want to talk about Chat GPT, which I think is actually more interesting.
Look at that predator, bro. Look at that predator. What? Insane, man. Absolutely insane. Yes, let's move on to ChatGPT, which, by the way, like I fell into that rabbit hole like not too long ago, and I had it start writing me raps about the most generic topic. I'm like, I'm at work. I'm like, write me a rap about cloud computing.
So I want you to do
Give me 16 bars.
As we talk about Chat GPT. You know the thing that I sent in the DM with you and Gaz with the pitch that I asked it to write for me?
Yeah.
So can you paste that in the chat? I want the people in the chat to see it because I can't get to it.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a moment. Yeah. So you go ahead and talk about ChatGPT. Yeah.
So this ChatGPT is a it's based on open source tech, but ChatGPT specifically is the one that gets referenced. It's made by a company called OpenAI, which Microsoft was an early investor of $1 billion, and they're getting ready to invest another $10 billion to become.
They're literally going to put this thing inside Bing, if I'm not mistaken.
And again, today this stuff's not connected to the internet.
Skynet.
Right. Well, I'm going to come to that point. But what this thing does, it's sort of conversational. Don't put the DMs in public.
I have no choice, brother. I'm being quick. I have no choice.
Jesus Christ.
There you go. There you go.
No.
This was your original.
That was my original.
And where is the? This was the.
No. Scroll up.
This was the.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
This was one of your iterations after you told it something.
Yeah, right? And there's another one, but it's not just this, because if you scroll up, right, that one. That was it. And I didn't give it a picture. I just explained the character. Yep. And this is what it gave.
And he was just like insane with what they are able to create.
But this is not ChatGPT. I had it write a pitch for the Prince of Arcadia
you want the pitch?
series.
Okay, I'll find the pitch as well. I'll find the pitch. Give me a minute.
And don't put the DMs in public.
Look, man, I copy pasted, but it gave the whole thing. I'm sorry. Continue.
Jesus Christ. You're gonna make live all the bad stuff I said about slow-mo.
Oh, stop it.
I'm joking, slow-mo. Don't worry.
Stop it.
But what ChatGPT does is it's text-based, and it can give you back things that you want, and it can even write code. But not only so, you can give it a problem, and it can write like competent code like for you. And yes, it does make mistakes.
Yeah. But
how does this get applied to corporations, especially if you work in this field? You can tell it. You not only does it write code, you can tell it to write a business plan for you. People are using it to create YouTube scripts. People are writing novels with it, right? I asked it.
I screwed up the thing. My bad. Hold on.
You ruined everything.
I did. I ruined everything. I just put your pitch in the StreamYard DM.
Yeah,
so
but
I copy pasted in there.
But
so you can read it.
You didn't get all of it. But
I got everything that was there.
No, you didn't. StreamYard has a text limit.
Oh well, unfortunate. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't want to dox people anymore. Continue.
All right, I'll do it myself.
Yes, you do that.
So I'm gonna put this in the YouTube chat if we don't have a character limit, and maybe we.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe we do. Yeah. But he basically asked it to explain what the Everborn Saga is.
I said, give me a pitch for Prince of Arcadia, and this is what it came up with.
Let's see if it'll.
Prince of Arcadia.
Read some of it, yeah.
Yeah, this is what it wrote. This is what the AI wrote. Prince of Arcadia is an epic fantasy story of Power, politics, and destiny. Two princes, Godwin and Baltimore, find themselves on opposite side of a kingdom torn by rebellion and war. Godwin, the elder prince, is the rightful heir to the throne and leads a rebellion to reclaim his birthright. Baltimore is feared across the land for his ruthless tactics and is tasked with putting down the rebellion. Meanwhile, all the current king wants is peace in the land, but years after convincing his predecessor to move his own son from the remove his own son from the line of succession, now must face the consequences. Will Godwin reclaim the throne and bring peace to the kingdom, or will Baltimore prove he is the more ruthless ruler? Join us on an exciting journey full of twists, turns, and fate as the kingdom hangs in the balance. Prince of Arcadia. And
my
AI
question
wrote
is,
that.
what did you tell it? Did you just say give me a pitch and it knew all the background?
No.
Because
I explained the story. The point is it wrote something that gripping.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
insane.
all those plot points came from me, right? But that's what it came back with. And all I did, I took the paragraph that explains the book on the back of chapter 1 of Prince of Arcadia, and then it came back with that. And I think that's more gripping than what I had on the back of the book. And so,
it seems Slow-Mo agrees with you. It says probably a better pitch than Sonic Frontier story.
Maybe Sega should go to ChatGPT. But, CNET right now is having articles that are written
by
ChatGPT.
I saw, and people are like slandering them for it. It's crazy.
So in this new world where AI is creating art, AI is writing code, AI is telling stories, AI is doing sort of voice matching. AI is doing what's the facial tech that they use where they can map what you're saying to somebody else's face and have them say it?
Deep faking,
deep fake, right? You have eye contact software for AI.
Oh, and by the way, for those who aren't aware, if you see me looking at the camera, it's because an AI is doing that. It's not me looking at the camera. It's NVIDIA broadcast software that's making me look at the camera. So there you go.
I say all this to say, and again, there are people that are having it with less details than I provide, having it write a novel, right? Yeah. So I say all this to say, if this thing can write code, if it can write technical documentation, if it can solve problems, what does that do for the world of software engineering? And we can say, listen, it's not going to replace someone that's worth their soul.
But look what FDW said. He said, ChatGPT fixed an error I had in a script for a year. It did so in seconds.
But this is my point.
Insane, brother.
So how many of us as engineers, right? How many of us spend most of our day on Stack Overflow looking for a solution to a problem, right? And if something can get to an answer more quickly, I'm not saying it replaces all of us, but do you need as many engineers?
Everyone, don't put that out into the universe. Come on now. Don't do that. No.
And again, so we need all of us. First ones to argue that, hey, man, the automobile's out. You no longer need the horse and buggy. And we've also noticed that people.
So you're calling humans horses and buggies now?
People have called software engineers the new factory workers, right? It used to be that you could feed a family, have a nice living, go on vacation, buy a boat, send your kids to college off of a factory salary, right? And you can't do that anymore. Well, the people in factories now have to be more of engineers because of the technology. But now to have that kind of middle class living, you kind of have to be in technology. But if we're in this new wave of AI, where does that leave the technology workers? And absolutely. But here's why this all is scary. The thinking was, if you read things like Our Final Invention, or if you read things like Some of these things that kind of talk about the benefits of this AI future, which is like, if you read like Ray Kurzweil and stuff, those are like the futurist guys. They say that the AI will do the hard work, and we will. You'll still have work because you will bring humanity to this digital world, right? And you will now
If that AI
be
lets
about
you.
art. But this is my thing.
Have they not watched these
AI,
movies?
no. Forget about if the AI lets you. We'll come to that. That's the last Terminator part of it. We'll talk about Skynet in a second. But what I'm saying is, if that is the dream that's sold to us, so AI will do this work of engineers and we bring the humanity to the world, but AI is creating art and writing stories. So if there's no place for the artist and there's no place for the engineer, or less of a place for the engineer, what does that leave us with? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a universal basic income conversation. No, I'm joking, but I'm not really joking.
We're gonna need that soon, is what you're saying.
I'm not joking. Buy your houses now. Make your investments now, because we are cooked. I say
at least our children are, I suspect.
Jesus, I mean, you got to leave them the house that you buy, right? So then we come to Microsoft, who's invested in this technology from the beginning, and they want to integrate it into Bing. And my question is, if ChatGPT and things like it are this good now, what happens when you turn it loose on the internet, right? Yes. When you have a bigger sample size to draw your references from, when you have the natural language patterns that come from 1 billion people searching this thing every day. Right now it's 1 million people, right? And it's getting better based on the feedback from the answers it's providing. But what happens when it's in something that is generally available, like a Bing, and it's connected to the internet? Right now, anything it can give you back is mostly circa 2021. It's not connected to the internet. I'm saying, what happens when it is? Maybe this is the future of Windows 12, where ChatGPT is integrated into this stuff. Right.
So slow-mo says 2 years from now, Keosante wakes up at 3 a.m. and 4 robots are surrounding his bed. One of them informs him he's been fired because AI does his job better, and they predicted that he'd protest his firing. So basically,
here's the scary thing. Slow-mo used ChatGPT to write that. Now the thing is this. I talked to my 16-year-old, and she says everyone in school is posting their homework assignments to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is doing.
He's correcting it.
No, they're not correcting it. They're doing it, and the teachers can't catch it because these are original answers.
Yes.
It's not in any plagiarism thing that they can do a search for.
Yep, absolutely. Oh boy, Jesus. Oh man, this is crazy.
And so, like, what does this all mean?
Absolutely. It's
Slogo says
crazy.
We've never seen his face because he's been an AI this whole time.
I
believe it. He's
the slander AI.
He's either an AI or he is Tyler Durden.
Which also could be an AI. But okay. Let us move on. I don't want people's eyes to glaze over. We've been having this AI conversation, and I can tell people are like, oh, enough already. Let's move on.
So, I mean, it's interesting, but let me bring it back to gaming, right?
Sure.
If Microsoft becomes a majority stakeholder in this thing and they integrate it into all their products, what could something like ChatGPT and Midjourney or things like that do for game development and AI in games, right? Imagine something that is writing the script for the game as you go. Right?
That's interesting. See, all of this stuff brings me to the what Matt Booty was saying some time ago about them wishing they had AIs that could test games while it's being developed. You wake up in the morning and overnight the AI has been playing and tells you all the bugs that it found. Like we are literally heading in that direction.
Talking about like Selenium for games. They have automated testing in games right now. But
sure.
You know what I'm talking about saying, what if you're using AI to create textures, right? That's a big part of
which they do, which in certain limited instances they're doing now. Yeah, absolutely. It is a crazy world we find ourselves in, because by the time this gets to you and me, the masses that know about it, it means it's been churning in the background for a while, and the ones that they aren't sharing with you are way more like complicated and more scary than these are.
Well, here's the thing. I think the future is, if we like, because we don't want to like fearmonger or whatever. The future is to learn how to use these things for your benefit.
Sure, right? Absolutely.
Because if you've always wanted to write
use this to do your homework until they figure it out.
Yeah, right. No, but learn how to interact with these things to get the results you want, and you can use these things to your benefit to be better, and adding your originality to these things. You don't have to take it as is, but like you want to write a book, let the AI help you. You want to have scripts for your YouTube channel, let the AI help you.
Okay. And we will end it on this note with Slow-Mo Backslap saying, make ChatGPT will make the desync in Halo. I don't think anything can help that right now. They really need to work on that. Even as better as the game has gotten, as I hear it's gotten so much better, that desync issue is still prevalent. People are still talking about it real quick. But okay, let us double back to our gaming conversation, because we have two more topics to talk about that I think will take us to the end of this show. Before I do that, the obligatory comment, please hit the like button if you haven't done so. We appreciate all the folks in the chat. Our chat is really lively. We appreciate y'all being here. Let me switch up. And first and foremost, I know we're going to talk about this just for briefly, because the narrative has been pervasive here, but we're just going to chat about it because we know people have been talking about it. But what we really are going to talk about towards the end of this is the Xbox Dev Direct show coming up. But NVIDIA and Google express concern to the FTC Microsoft deal. Okay, it was a pervasive narrative. It's come out. People have been chopping it up.
I'm gonna yawn real quick while you.
Let's give this not even 10 minutes. Let's give this not even 10 minutes, and I will let you go, and I'll let you have the last word. But right off jump, the reason why I think this is a non-story is because of two things. There's NVIDIA, and then there's Google. People go, oh, nobody was complaining for Sony before, and now it looks like, oh, now other people are complaining too. Look at this. This might be the canary in the coal mine. Okay. NVIDIA, for those who know, had GeForce Now, right? GeForce Now started off as the best cloud service ever, okay? Now, follow me when I say why I say this. GeForce Now was OnLive, for those who know. OnLive basically gave you a computer in the cloud. You sign in, you do what you want with it, play games. OnLive even at some point had a service where you could just work through OnLive in the cloud on a PC, right? What did NVIDIA GeForce Now do? They basically created the similar system, but you sign in, it boots up Steam, you log in with your Steam creds. Everything you own on Steam is obviously available there. It's like going to a friend's house and logging in with your Steam account, right? You get there, you log in, everything that's available there is downloadable there, right? That's how GeForce Now started. And those of us who were like, oh my God, this is amazing, it was too good to be true, because as soon as they did that, what happened? As soon as it caught fire and a bunch of, it made all this awesome news, all of those publishers started going, nah, homie, that was not the contractual, that was not part of the contract.
I just think we're missing the forest for the trees.
Well, no. Let me. I'm just giving a quick background on why NVIDIA is saying exactly what they're saying, right? So, long story short, a lot of these publishers needed to have deals in the background before they would let their games be on NVIDIA's service. So now, if you go there are some games, even though you own it, even though it's part of your Steam account, and since then they've added Steam, they've added Epic Game Store, they've added a whole bunch of different stores that you can then sign into in this GeForce Now service, right? And play it from the cloud, and then you have access to their big GTX cards, all streaming, right? The reason why we are where we are now is they've made deals with Ubisoft. They've made deals with all these big publishers that then allow those games to be available. Who were they not able to make a deal with? Activision Blizzard King. Why? Because Activision was like, nah, homie, I am sorry. I don't care if you want to give me back-end money. I don't want my game on your service. Get it out of here. So up until now, GeForce Now does not have any Activision Blizzard games, including the big one, Call of Duty. What did NVIDIA say when this whole thing happened? Now, I know that the headlines have been a little bit, clickbaity and pervasive, but I remember what you said. Everborn, do you recall what NVIDIA asked what NVIDIA's statement was when prodded? Do you recall? Give me the broad strokes. Oh, you're muted, sir. You're muted.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
here. So the point that I was trying to make to you before is we got to explain the story before we get to the explanation, because not everybody is as plugged in as us.
Sure. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just give us the preamble, and then we'll talk about.
Well,
what,
that is basically the preamble of
your context is only context within the context of it's being reported that they have concern.
Right now I'm basically picking apart these two different elements, right? NVIDIA has their reasons. Google will get to them. They also have their reasons.
So here's the thing. The article in question says that, and it came from Bloomberg and then other people are reporting. But it says NVIDIA stressed the need for equal and open access to game titles, but didn't directly oppose the acquisition. According to one of the people familiar. Now,
they're asking for is for Activision Blizzard, and now, of course, under Microsoft, if they are purchased, to come to the table so we, NVIDIA, can give you money so you can also put your games on our service. That's all they want.
But who's to say they should even get that? Here's the thing, right?
That's it. It may not be what they need, but it's all they're asking. Because everybody else did, and Activision did not.
But I think what I think is important before we go down the rabbit hole of talking about intentions and motivations, we should actually get the facts straight of what's going on here.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So the headlines and these were the headlines. It's not people's fault, but what people are running with, and most of them only read the headline and not the article. The thing to understand here is, one thing is that people are saying, oh, everybody said it was only Sony that was complaining. Now these guys are joining forces. Being asked what your thoughts are on the matter of something
is different than you coming out
coming out and saying this deal must not go through, or we will not be able to effectively compete, and it will be bad for the entire industry. The only people saying that has been, still is today, and will continue to likely be Sony.
Only
right?
Sony, yes.
Those are the only people saying that.
Yes. And technically, this lumping together of NVIDIA and Google, that's not really righteous either, because, Google had concerns, but NVIDIA didn't. They just kind of lumped them together as they have concerns when their statement wasn't really a concern.
Also didn't really say what the concern of Google was exactly. Right?
True.
So again, these people are asked by the FTC, right? The FTC reaches out to market participants and says, what do you think about this? And if all NVIDIA said was, it's important to have open access to things, right?
And that's and you know the context of where they come to, where they're coming to it with that.
Those things are not the same as saying they've joined forces with Sony, like they're Voltron or something like that, right? We have to, the headline is the headline, and this headline is, the way people are reporting on this headline is that they've joined Sony, but no one has joined Sony.
Nope. Yeah.
Right? They've given their feedback on what they think about the deal. That's very different, like they're co-defendants or something. Pointing Microsoft out on the stand. So to me, again, and we are talking about Google, who is trying to protect their position in mobile gaming. And Microsoft,
let's be clear about Google here.
Break into that market.
Let's be clear about Google here, right? For anybody who has shade to throw to Microsoft/Xbox about them not marketing their stuff, right? You could throw that. I've thrown that shade as well. One thing they are very good at marketing is the fact that Google Chrome eats your battery life better than Edge does. They have loved nothing more than to take snipes at each other whenever possible. from a corporate perspective, Google and Microsoft are not friends. So whenever Google comes out to stand up and say, hey, we have concerns, that is huge context for anything Google says.
Also look at Google and Microsoft raising security concerns, which kind of advertises the security concerns instead of reaching out in the back end to tell people about it. That's another whole thing. Yeah. But this is not new, right, between them.
No.
But again, you have to understand, what weight do we give NVIDIA, who is literally the number one graphic card maker in the world, and it's not even really close, or what credit do we give?
Slow-mo was saw Sony, NVIDIA, and Google at Starbucks discussing their next move.
I think Slow-mo's going to chat GPT.
And this is why we love our audience, because they know what the hell they're talking about, right? Beast Mode 10 goes, remember YouTube on the Windows Phone? Like, come on, the history's deep here.
A man does not forget YouTube on Windows Phone. But my point is, like, the weight that they carry, because none of them are saying there are competition concerns and we will not be able to compete. That's what Sony's saying. So, right, is Google saying they'll no longer be the number 2 or whatever in mobile gaming? Is NVIDIA saying they won't be able to make video cards anymore?
Yeah.
Right?
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So that it's they don't have the same weight as when Sony says these things. And I think the energy that people are putting on this is people who already have preconceived notions
energy
of how they want the thing to go. So, and again, to whoever said, it's not, Microsoft doesn't have the argument that only Sony is opposing the deal. Yes, they do. Because Google and NVIDIA are not on the record opposing the deal. That's still only Sony.
Yeah, only Sony.
And that's the main point that I want to drive home on this. But we can move on if you want.
I will move on, but again, I must continue to thank you guys for your crazy support. I got Erodimus in the chat with a $20 super chat. He is saying, sorry I'm late. Here's some funds that would give you... that would have gave to Slow-mo, but he hates. Have a good show. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Yo, thank you guys so much for the continued support. So let's get to the last topic, and I think this is the fun
maybe
topic
Slow-mo, that chat from Erodimus. Maybe you should reflect on your Sonic Slam.
Oh, stop it.
Maybe that wouldn't happen if you wasn't talking about and hating on Sonic.
Oh, my. Let's get to the whole developer direct situation. I'm sure you've heard about what's going down, right? You've heard about
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Lord King David is in the chat.
Amazing. Look at the man. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for showing up, man.
Wait a minute, King David. We're getting Sonic slander.
Yeah, King David, sir, good sir, you and me and Mr. Everborn Saga, we must talk about Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic slander.
We must talk about Sonic Frontiers, sir, because it seems like Everborn Saga needs to hear some information. We will talk about that. There is a reckoning coming, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be today. It won't be tomorrow, but a reckoning is coming. And oh, Mr. King David, you are invited to the reckoning. We are going to have a conversation, sir.
And
thank you for being
here. Even though he thinks Sonic is wacky, he's still playing it. That's because he can't quit Sonic, baby.
Bro, all you need to do is just bow out. Just bow out. Just bow out. Admit defeat and we'll keep it moving.
Not at all. I need proof and numbers. Oh, King David said he will be on next week. That would be an honor.
That would be an honor. Yes, an honor and a privilege. Psh, the invite's already out, bro. Check your DMs for sure. Whenever you're ready, we're going to do that for sure. I will hold you to it, sir. For sure. Okay. Let's end this show off in the right direction. We all know people wanted to talk, and we heard that all the water under the bridge about how Microsoft is not representing themselves correctly, how they may or may not have not represented correctly at the Game Awards and for 2022 in general. They dropped tea leaves right off the bat that, hey, we got something coming for you, and here we are. We're looking at the Developer Direct, right? So first, before we get into full details and all of that, is this what you were expecting to see? Or do you think this is kind of, they're reactionary because they saw all the smoke they got from the Game Awards or whatever? Was this the whole plan along, in your opinion? Or do you think this is?
I don't think this is a reaction from the Game Awards. Okay. I think, like anybody, I think they had a reason they didn't show anything at the Game Awards. Whether we're timing it with the FTC or because they wanted to focus on this thing, whatever we want to call it, that was done on purpose, right? And like, I know we like to think that Microsoft are just bumbling idiots and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Anybody, like Microsoft knows the importance of the Game Awards because they're at the Game Awards every year doing something big and making news. So if they decide this year we don't want to make news, it's for a reason, right?
And that's why your point you just made there, a quick aside, the point you just made there, that is why when people were giving them the smoke, I thought it was righteous. You've set the precedent, and then you've also made the decision not to follow through this time around. For whatever reason, right? If people are disappointed, you created that.
And they knew that. So I say that to say, we can say that this Developer Direct is reactionary, but I think that this is just something that signals that they are actually listening. How many people have been saying Microsoft needs to put more focus on their games, and we don't want to see a bunch of talking heads, and we don't want to see a bunch of games we don't care about, and we don't want to see trebuchets. Hopefully there are no trebuchets, but
they got like Christmas sweaters with trebuchets on it now. They're like leaning into the memes these days.
The point is, we've literally said we want them to do something like Nintendo Direct, and they're calling this Developer Direct, where they're giving deep dives to the games they have coming out, and that is literally what we asked for, right? Absolutely. So we want them to do state of play style things, and that's what this is. Now we'll see how well executed it is, but it is already a positive sign to me that the Elder Scrolls extended view is separated into another event right after, right? This is targeted, this is focused, and it's only 43 minutes on 4 titles, right? To me, if you can't stop here, but this is a great start, right?
Let's talk about that 40 minutes, and we heard through Aaron Greenberg, he came out and really cut a lot of narratives off at the pass. First and foremost, we know that Starfield won't be there. We also know that a similar direct style is in the works for Starfield, right? And we also know this will be 43 minutes. And what they've mentioned so far is Elder Scrolls Online, which will have an announcement and then have its own thing after the main show. We also know that we'll be seeing Forza Motorsport. We'll be seeing Minecraft Legends in their PvP mode, and Redfall.
I think we'll get dates.
Yes, the German translation version of the announcement specifically pointed out that you will get dates, whereas the American one did not. Right, the translation really did point that out. So my question is this: if
you listen to any Xbox content creator, this is what we asked for, right?
Yeah.
And I know they're in that rock and a hard place where it's like, don't show us games if they're 6 years out, but also show us games that are coming
games
past.
That are 6 years out.
Yes, right?
Don't, but do.
Who do you listen to?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But my question is this. You have 4 games listed here, right? And you have 43 minutes. I assume the first 3 minutes may be just, and not just 3 minutes in general, but it may be the 3 minutes is sprinkled out throughout the broadcast, maybe some announcements here and there. And there will be no actually official host, right? There may very well be a talking head, a narrator in your ear, but there will be no actual host. Do you foresee that the only things that they will announce they will show are these 4 titles that they've telegraphed, or is there room for surprises in your estimation?
I know people are talking about there's supposed to be a small game from Tango Gameworks. We'll see, but maybe not. And I see Dutch in the chat. He says he asked for consistency, and that's a long-term request. But this is why I say this is the beginning, right? So this isn't all you do, but this is a good start. So you'll start with this sometime in February, March. You'll get one for Starfield. And then as we get the next set of announcements, you should get one more in the summer or maybe before that, right? And as the games come out, you'll get these deep dives. Now, if there's any preview to what this is going to be like, do you remember the 10-minute Redfall thing they did a couple of months back, where it kind of sold a lot of us?
Where they sat down on the couch and they were talking about it while showing some videos.
Right. Yes. That is actually perfect. And I hope we have 4 different versions of that for this show, because they got me excited. So Redfall was a game I did not care about until that.
Okay. Until that.
They got me excited when they sat down. You talked to the developers. You showed gameplay. You talked about the story. You talked about the process of making it, and it didn't feel like a Twitch chat with developers that nobody cares about and everybody's eyes glazed over. It was actually interesting. So if that's the format they're going with for these 4, yes, we need these, and we need about 3 or 4 of these every year. And you do that, and you have your one big future outlook in terms of at your summer showcase, and now we're off to the races.
So to that point, what you just said there, that also brings me to another question I have to ask, because people have been asking about that, right? And people have been talking about it. And here's where I find it very interesting. What if we now live in the cycle of Microsoft's marketing, where these directs give them an opportunity to either put dates on the ground, right, on games that are coming close, because they already telegraphed that they would be doing it in the next 6 months, right? We have that on the ground. And we get more directs of these kinds permeated throughout the various quarters, but E3 still remains that 12-month calendar, cyclically. And these little, let me, and I'll pose it to the chat as well. And these little directs and these little side shows are their opportunity to point further out. But when you go to E3, expect to only see what you're playing in the next 12 months. Every single year, and those shows are the ones that give you the.
I think.
How would you feel about that?
I think the 12 months is an artificial handicap, right?
Well, of course, it was an artificial handicap in the beginning, but my question is there a world where they continue that cycle and you'd be okay with it?
I don't think they need to, right?
Okay.
I think unless one of your 4 directs is just future outlook, and that's more like CG trailers and announcements and things like that, but I think E3 is the place to do that. So unless you save that for the Game Awards, where you do that, but I do think it's important to show things that are further out, even if it's only CG. Right.
Well, so, let me be clear here, folks. I see Live Supremacy in the chat saying no, I still want to see future games. My point is, E3 would not be the place for your future games, but all these directs would be.
No, would but that work? We just said
like a future. No, but my point, like exactly to what Beast Mode is saying right now. Like, announce a future direct. They have a developer direct. They announce a future direct. They announce a Bethesda direct. Things like related to where you'll get one, but don't expect it at E3, because they now put it. So
if one of your directs, you know what I mean. So let's just do a made up calendar, right?
Yeah.
You have
this is all theoretical, obviously. Yes. This is all Continue.
You have one direct that is for your biggest title of any given year, and that's a focus.
And this will be Starfield this year, yeah.
Right? Starfield this year, whatever, Avowed next year or whatever, right? Whatever your biggest title is of that year. So that's one. You have your developer direct, which is going to show multiple games, and then you have a future direct. And then you have your E3 for your next 12 months to set the schedule.
That is my question.
So I think the only way that works is if you at least have one show that is dedicated to announcement, like future far out stuff. It's CG you don't mind because It's a future showcase.
And I will say this. I will add this here because again, cheap plug. I was on Crossfire yesterday. Shout out to Slow Mo, who was also there, and Lord Addict, who was also there. And he said something very interesting. Oh, I see Mr. Ham Solos in the chat. Welcome, good sir. Good to see you here. He said something very interesting when we were doing this. Even the iconography that they use for their direct is very interesting because it seems to suggest that they're gonna peel back the onion and peel back the curtain and show you stuff that's undone, because it's literally like a developer like focus, kind of like how EA has been doing with Skate, where
Did
they
it
show
bother
you
anybody else that this wasn't camel cased?
Now you're nitpicking.
For the developers in the chat, just
you're nitpicking.
It's really like it's grinding my gears. But anyway,
now you're nitpicking. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, this won't be hey, vertical slice. This will be, we don't want to do vertical slices. So understand that this is the developer direct. We're going to show you some unvarnished stuff. Would you be happy with that? You know, so rather than, oh, here's a little time that we took away from development cycle to create a vertical slice. No. This is the developer direct. So see some wireframe work, see some of this, see some of that. And we'll show you more of that to show you the future's coming. How would you feel about that?
I think you can't do that yet because you have people that are intentionally obtuse and other people that don't understand the process. So until we mature as an audience,
this would possibly educate the public to see what
Microsoft's
the process
not
is.
in a position to educate the public right now, right? Like, you have to say, you have to deliver the consistent quality, the trendsetter, become the trendsetter first, right? And then when people, can trust your output, then you can say, now we're going to take you where you don't know you want to go yet. Right now, I don't think they can do that because they have things to prove. Once they prove that, yes. But I don't think right now is the time for them to do that, because you're going to have a bunch of people. And I don't just mean like trolls on Twitter. I'm talking about trolls that work for major news publications that will be intentionally obtuse. And you're going to talk about Craig moments, and you're going to talk about this doesn't look that good. And then it's going to stymie people's anticipation of the game because they don't understand that this is a slice of alpha footage or whatever it is. And so, but once they become a trusted entity again, I think they can, because you'll have enough people to drown out the trolls.
Okay. So you think
Rodimus, not just him. There's other people as well.
Yeah, So you think, long story short, we're still too childish to get to see behind the layer of the curtain.
Yeah, we never want to look at ourselves with some of this stuff and how maybe we sometimes overreact.
Well, exactly based on the leaks of GTA, the future GTA that came out, and the narratives that built there. That's basically what the long and short of it was. That instead of looking at it and going, oh wow, we're seeing behind the curtain, people use that to build ridiculous narratives that maybe will stop future curtains from being lifted. You know what I'm saying? So no, I do hear you on that. So okay. So
well, hold on. Dutch says community indie showcase.
I was about to talk about that.
The only way I would support that is if they let Dutch host it.
Well, but this will be Dutch's community indie showcase.
Yeah, I'm saying I think that Microsoft should back what Dutch is doing.
Bro, since he announced this, and folks, if you're in the chat,
on the Xbox
if you're in the chat and you haven't paid attention, go to the Wandering Dutch YouTube channel. You should be subscribed now anyway, but if you're not, please go do that. Go check out the Community Indie Showcase from 2022. I was honored enough to be one of the speakers that showed off a few games that I thought was interesting. The man is hitting it out of the park. I keep complaining that I keep calling it the Keeleys because I don't like certain aspects of it that then are allowed to stand like they are the industry rather than his voice. And clearly the solution is to have other voices in that space speaking the way you want it to be spoken to. And man, Dutch is shooting it, like hitting it out of the park. Some games that were shown off that people in 2022 went, oh my God, it's wild. Yeah, he had that on his show first. You may just not have caught that. So yes, if you haven't checked it out, you definitely need to go check it out. And I think 2023, he's gonna be back at it. He's still speaking to indies. And sir, I will say it right now on our small space, we would be honored to take part for sure. And I agree with you, Everborn. We should definitely they should be backing more of those indies, And
I'm trying to get one of the Everborn games on there. I gotta get my vertical slice ready. Now, one other thing that kind of dovetails on this, and I don't know if you were gonna bring this up. But we are going to get dates, right? And I know Starfield's not going to be there, but there's been a lot of talk going on about what we think the dates are. Now, talk about where you think each of these things should land, and then where Starfield lands. What's your roadmap on dates?
That's tough, bro, because it's so difficult. Okay. Here's my issue. Okay, I am both.
Let me say it first because I got to step away for a second, and then I'm going to leave it with you. So for me, I think you want to go Minecraft in March.
Okay.
Right? And if Redfall is really May, that's fine. But then you do Motorsport in June.
Okay.
Because it's... Well, let me tell you why. While I would love all three of the major platforms having... RPG exclusives in the month of June with Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdoms, and Starfield. How much better would it be if Starfield got the drop on them in April? Right? You do Redfall in May, and then Motorsport.
Texas agrees with you. Yes.
Motorsport is June, so you have a AAA title out with all the people who where it can do its best and it's not cannibalized because it's not going against other RPGs or other racers.
Because say what you will, where we are, we like to call it the abacus known as the Nintendo Switch, but Tears of the Kingdom is out here, players. You do not want to counter program against Tears of the Kingdom unless it's maybe a Motorsport.
Again, Starfield is a new IP. I'm not saying any of that, but you slot it to where it can be the best, and you put it out in April. It owns April, right? And then you hit that. You follow that up with Redfall, and then now you have another big AAA game, best graphics we've probably ever seen. While a separate set of people are playing Final Fantasy, and you can let Tears of the Kingdom eat Final Fantasy's lunch, but Tears of the Kingdom will not eat Forza Motorsport's lunch because it's a completely different audience.
Completely different. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. So before
you continue. I will be back in like 5 minutes or whatever.
Okay. Before I do this, what I will say though, like the point that my point of not concern, but what I will be very interested to see happens is Microsoft has literally put the stake in the ground and they promised, right? And every time anybody goes back and go, are you sure? They go, yep, it's still coming, right? Every time they release a new website or whatever, the dates are still first half, right? So we're waiting for them to kind of go, maybe we'll pull Starfield back. Honestly, for me, I think it'd be smart and strategic to spread it out over the year because you got a lot of heavy hitters at the beginning of the year, but they promised that they would do it in the first consecutive. So, okay, I'm good with that. My concern, though, is so you drop all these crazy bangers at the first half of the year and then you drought the rest of the year. I hope that's not the case. I hope that, well, and yeah, we know it won't really be the case because there will be like Game Pass drops all over the place throughout the year, right? But I'm hoping that they've saved some first-party special surprises for the rest of the, and of course we will know that when we go back into E3 and then they tell us, where we're going after that. But okay, what do I think? How do I think this will drop? I'm very, very concerned. I'm very concerned about how this thing will drop because, like I said, some of these are very big games, and you're giving them like 1 month and another month and another month. You're kind of building this narrative, this consistency of, hey, here's one big, huge, meaty game. Right when you take a whole month off to then play it, and you're almost at the end, here's another one, which is awesome, and another one, which is awesome. But how long will that last? And every time you do that, just like the Game Awards, you're teaching people to expect it, right? The Series X announcement. Oh my God. Hellblade. Oh my God. What do you call it? Joanna Dark. The year after. Oh my God. And then another year comes and you got nothing. People go, what the hell? I have a feeling. My concern is that's what they're building now. They're consistently giving you these amazing drop after amazing drop after amazing drop. If you do not have confidence of being consistent in that, maybe be a little bit more strategic in how you space it out so you don't set a bad precedent for yourself that'll leave your consumer base upset with you when we're in, like, I don't know, like October and we're going nothing else, you know? That's the only concern I have. But hey, we don't know the full picture, so maybe they actually do have something in the works that may continue the ball forward. But okay. What do I think? So they're definitely releasing this. They're definitely having this show in January. So forgive me. I don't really count Elder Scrolls Online among them. I know it has a huge fan base. To me, Elder Scrolls Online is like Fallout 76. It's got a good fan base. Fallout 76 obviously experienced the issues they experienced right from jump. But since that time, it's cleaned it up. I know some people who play it who say it's actually pretty good, which is fine. But I'm more of a main Fallout player. You bring me Fallout 3, you bring me Fallout 4, all of that stuff. That's what I will be excited about. So, I respect the game and I respect that the stories that supposedly they tell in there are still very good. But I may not be the target audience for that. So my focus is more Forza. I'll definitely be playing Minecraft Legends because my daughter loves it, and I'm trying to get her into more of the Minecraft state of mind. Better Minecraft than Roblox, I'm sorry. And then, of course, Redfall, which, oddly enough, I hear a lot of consternation about. I actually really love Arcane. I'm a big Arcane guy. They've never, to me, Arcane is kind of like FromSoft in that they've been working on one style of game and iterating, trying to find the sweet spot for that game. And in doing so, that's where you got your Prey. That's where you got your Dishonored 1 and 2. Every time they make a new one, it seems to be speaking the same language, but in different clothes, if you will, kind of like FromSoft does with their games, right? And obviously, Elden Ring has now been anointed as peak FromSoft, right? I'm hoping Redfall is peak Arcane, right? Their ability to let you be free form in their games is just so great, but in doing so, they sometimes lose the thread in small mechanics, gameplay mechanics, meaning like people complain that Deathloop didn't have great shooting mechanics. On PC, it wasn't as much of a problem as it was on console, but I do agree, and I did see where they were going with that. I hope this becomes more down that narrative. So yeah, obviously we all know that May is definitely Redfall. Like at this point, the rumors are all but confirmed that it's May.
I leave for 5 minutes and you're calling Arcane FromSoft. I don't know what.
No. I'm not calling Arcane FromSoft. Hear me clearly. I am not calling Arcane FromSoft. I am saying, like FromSoft found the nugget of idea that they wanted to really like to bring to the masses, and they've been refining that over and over and over and over again. Similarly, Arcane has had this idea of this free-form open world where you can basically tackle anything the way you want, and they've been, doing similarly. They've been, really working on it over and over. Sometimes they hit right, other times, sometimes the what do you call it? Sneaking, they focus very much on traversal and very much on stealth. Sometimes that shines at the detriment of melee. Sometimes shooting is good, but then, you know what I mean? They haven't really strike that great balance. And even you said it, Deathloop wasn't like it didn't burn the house down when it came to shooting mechanics and whatnot, right? So to my understanding, it looks like they're iterating it and trying to find that sweet spot where they get all of their mechanics working at that highest clip. And Redfall might be that, right? And then they threw in multiplayer co-op for good measure. So I personally am quite excited to see, hopefully, them reach the full heights of their powers when it comes to the kind of game they're trying to develop, right?
Well, so about that, right? About
yes, please.
Redfall, I'm fully confident that the single player is going to be
and Beast
good.
Mode 10 agrees with me. See, he says Arcane.
It's okay, Beast Mode. You've been wrong before.
Hey, he's rarely wrong. Beast Mode is out here.
No,
Speak on it.
but Arcane has never made a co-op game before, so I feel like there's a lot of assuming that the co-op aspect will be good. We'll see.
Sure, but then again, I'm not a co-op player, so I'm there for Arcane.
No.
as Arcane.
This is what I'm saying. I'm there as the single player, so
yeah.
I just it sucks for you co-op people. That being said, so you were saying something about setting themselves up for a drought by putting all these.
That's my concern, right? That's my concern.
So here's the thing.
And it's a small concern because we don't have the full picture of the year yet, right?
We're talking about Redfall, Motorsport, Starfield, Minecraft,
all
Legends.
in the first half of the year.
Right. But we're also remember there's also Atomic Heart, there's also Lies of P, there's also Flintlock, there's also
don't get me wrong. Remember, you may not have caught that. Yes. There will be second party and third party Game Pass and otherwise that will really, really prop it up. But I am saying first party. Like, have a first party offering in the second quarter, even if it's a small one.
So, yes, that's fine. I also think Starfield would be fine if it went in July. I know that's not first half, but I think it would be fine.
I actually think, I honestly, I think if they fell on their sword and said, you know what, we're making Starfield November, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain.
Well, okay, here's how they can get away with that, right? If they close Activision early, right? Because no. This is
because
serious.
then you can throw the whole the past library of ABK into Game Pass and people would just be overwhelmed.
Just the hype of closing Activision will give you good faith to move Starfield. And you will now say you're not being deprived of anything because you're getting Diablo in June. So we're putting
Pixelbit G. I said I wouldn't have a problem if it came out in November. He said you wouldn't, but the internet and gas would. Absolutely.
Like I say, if they can close Activision, they will have an enormous amount of goodwill, and that goodwill will be enough to delay Starfield. Them closing Activision would literally drown out all the articles. Like, listen to Texas, man.
Listen to Texas. If they delay it again and it is 30 frames per second only, I will riot. As in
it's not a riot if it's one person. That's just an angry citizen. Now the thing is this. Because if they can say that, listen, the game that you get as an Xbox gamer in June is Diablo 4 in Game Pass. I think people will forgive them, and I think search engines SEO will push Starfield being delayed to the third page of your search results, and it'll all be, oh my god, Microsoft closed the deal, and now Diablo.
That'll take up all the energy in the room. That's for damn sure.
So I'm just saying strategically that will matter less, and it won't be because the game's not ready, just because you want to slot it in a position where it's best.
So I kind of think you agree with me here that even though they're trying to do right by consumers and trying to make good on the promises they made, that may not necessarily be a good strategic move for them for the year, unless they have another big monster game that we don't know about, which all the tea leaf readers and all the insiders are saying no, they don't. Right?
Yeah,
so I hear you.
Let me stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there.
Please.
I think there's another one of the already announced titles, first-party titles, that will come out this year.
So you're talking about Avowed or
Hellblade
or Hellblade, like really, like
yes.
Okay, that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement. Okay, See, and that's why I said, this is Hellblade 2. Yeah, that's why I said, like, my concern is a small concern because we don't have a picture of the full year.
Also,
right? If you are confident and you release all these bangers in the first quarter, and you have another half. Quote unquote first half, and you have another banger quote unquote in your back pocket, then you cool, I got you, good job. But if that is not the case, and then you rely only on your second party deals and your Game Pass,
wait a minute.
We'll still enjoy ourselves. We will, but come on.
Wait a minute. This is listening. Again, if they close Activision, let's say they don't even close it by June.
Okay.
but they close it before the end of the year, that means the next COD will be a holiday release.
So you mean they could then say, okay, Call of Duty's well, but remember, this first Call of Duty will not really be their Call of Duty because they'll be their hands will be tied via the consent decrees that they will sign.
But here's the problem. I even think you can forget about that whole we can't put it in Game Pass. Why? Because if Sony's not going to agree to this, which they haven't, which is the reason
which they
why
haven't,
everybody's
if they
fighting,
go to court, they can null and void all of that. Yes.
So, well, not null and void it, but they're going to say, listen, you want this game? Afterwards, we need you to ease up on the Game Pass restriction. Because you could have signed this before when you had a chance.
When there was no reason. Yeah, and now you waited too long, so here's a little bit of a tack on to that deal. I hear you.
So again, I say all this to say, unless we're operating in a world where Activision doesn't close this year, I think this year's fine.
I think Activision will close this year one way or another.
But if you think
a decision will be made
year,
one way or another,
then COD is a first party release.
No, sure. I definitely understand that. I get that. I'm just saying I understand why they're doing what they're doing, and I appreciate it. I just wish they could be a bit more strategic in their spreading out of the bangers, if you will. Well, unless again they come at us and go, oh, by the way, that Tango Gameworks thing that you were hearing about, here it is for the second half.
Yeah,
oh, by the way,
Tango Gameworks things is a AA.
Doesn't matter. Look, I am not a AAA ridiculous. It's not about that. I want content from first, second, and third party, whether it be big monstrous things. I appreciated that they released Pentiment. People don't recognize Pentiment as a game. I appreciate that they released it. A bunch of people had a great time with it. I haven't really delved deep into it, but it's definitely on my list to play. I'm not saying they need to release Starfield level things at the second half. You could release Starfield in the first half. As long as when the year is counted and we look at your releases, you had some content for the second half as well, even if it's AA, I count that as a win.
Wait a minute. So Jason Max says there's no proof. There is proof because in the filings, Microsoft told the CMA that Sony's contracts bar them from putting COD into Game Pass for several years.
Yes.
So
yes, that
we
was
do actually we have definitive proof.
We have
I'm saying
that can in black and white.
That's that can be negotiated. And if Sony wants to have a contract after Microsoft had to go through the regulators, I think they may have to let up on some things, and maybe the Game Pass thing is one of them.
Okay.
So there's that. But again, to your release cadence thing.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is only a potential issue, and I still don't think it's an issue because I do think if again, just look at what's announced right now, right? Between Flintlock, between Ravenlock, between these 4 games from the Direct, and between
and let me be clear here, Everborn. I am just talking first party. I know we are good as far as content in general. I am just talking first party.
And I am talking about. I think you also have to count Stalker 2 because I don't think that's coming to PlayStation.
Oh no, yeah.
So Stalker 2.
I would count Stalker 2 in the Xbox game publishing camp. That's that, right? They don't own the studio, but it's their game. I get that.
So that counts as a later on release if that doesn't come out in the first half, right? And then that's before again you get to Activision, because if you get to Activision, that problem is solved.
Jason Max, I see you in the chat. He says he saw the RE blocking rights, but he never saw it for COD. He'll go back and do some research.
No.
I recommend. Wait, hold on. I recommend you follow Everborn Saga on Twitter. You will be apprised of all of those in black and white because he brings receipts whenever possible. So yes, follow the man. He's good for the details. But yeah, continue, sir.
Yeah. So again, I think Activision solves that problem. And between Diablo, between whatever the Modern Warfare add-on is for the holiday and whatever else Activision or Blizzard releases this year, and there'll be updates to Overwatch and things like that. So I think you're covered. And once Activision is in the can, we'll be in 2024. And then at that point, if Hellblade doesn't come out this year, it'll be 2024. Then Avowed, then all these other things, then whatever, then you know, Indiana Jones and Contraband and all those things, 2025. So between ZeniMax, between all the announced games that we're waiting on from Xbox Game Studios, and you add Activision to that, there won't even be a choice but to, like, there's not enough months in the year to release all these things between the three the three
so okay, Everborn, we are going to end this show, but I have one last question for you that I want you to give me your thoughts on, and we will close up shop. The way they are now going forward, right? For those who aren't aware, they poached some folks from IGN. If I'm not mistaken, Tina Amini is her name. She was the head of video at IGN for a while. Great content creator. They hired her on. It seems that she most likely will be the spearhead of these kind of initiatives as far as the video content that they're doing moving forward. They don't have actual hosts, but I suspect maybe there'll be some voice narration here and there. I've seen Paris in some chats decrying about him losing his status. Although I will say I hope that there is still some shows where that can also be a thing where he sits down with people and there's use there as well. What do you think about this new way, this direct moving forward? Do you think this is the way they should move forward? Are you appreciative of this style? 43 minutes, bang, bang, bang shows with video and all, with gameplay and all of that?
I think you have to ask me this question after we see the execution of it.
Okay. So you're happy with the thought, but the execution still needs to be, the jury's still out.
But in theory, I'd like to see 2 to 3 of these a year on top of Summer Game Showcase.
Interesting. Okay. And Beast Mode, we will leave this conversation with Beast Mode 10's last comment. Paris for the Indie Showcase. Bro, that is an interesting idea. Wandering Dutch, if you are in the spot, I suggest you hit some DMs, good sir, because that'd be really cool. I'm just saying, that would be really cool. But okay.
I think that so like I say, you have one at the beginning of the year to let us know what's coming before summer. You have your future. You have one your summer game showcase that's going to tell you the 12-month roadmap, or I think it should be 18-month roadmap. That's me. And then you have one in the fall to let you know what's coming up in the holidays, like another.
And mix that with EXO, mix that with FanFest and all the other things they do. That might be a real
FanFest. I don't know, EXO.
Well, FanFest and EXO are where you'll get your quality of life stuff. There's rumors permeating that they're about due for a UI change. We're still looking for game DVR. There's a rumor that people have started now seeing ads for the family plan in English on their boxes now. You know what I mean? Ubisoft Plus has started being tagged on some Xbox games. There are places to make these announcements, right? So maybe those are the places you start making those quality of life announcements and saving these directs for the games and E3 for more of the main show. You know what I'm saying? But no, it is exciting times, and all the while, like I said, I also signed up to PlayStation Plus Premium, so hit me with some PlayStation showcases there, Sony. I need to see that. I was also one of the fools that pitched my wagon to PSVR 2. So show me some PSVR 2 content there, PlayStation. I hit the buy button. I hit the subscribe button.
Next week, I want to have that conversation we had about VR.
He wants to start the fight. Let's start the fight.
VR is a failed god, but we'll talk about that.
It is not a failed god, sir. You just worship at the wrong altar. But we'll get into that.
We shall see.
We shall.
It's a conversation for next week, and you can bring Asa if you want to, and all the other VR.
I don't need a backup. I don't need backup. We gonna have it out, you and me, sir. You know, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna talk about Sonic too. But that's neither here nor there. But okay, I will end this show now by saying thank you guys so much for being here, my audio listeners, my video watchers, those who are always in the YouTube chats, those who listen later and leaves amazing comments. Like I left a comment, somebody left a comment and I sent it to Everborn, and both he and I were just like taken aback at just how amazing some of these comments are. Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it. As you can see, we want to jump full bore into 2023 and go bigger, better, badder. We're trying it. We're going there. As difficult as all the damn tech issues are, I'm still sticking with OBS. We're doing it this way. That's how we're going to do from now on. We appreciate all of the support and all the patience with us while we're growing. We're gonna have a lot more voices on here, as you know. We're gonna have a lot more. We're gonna try and make it more dynamic. As we go along, maybe we'll start some channel memberships. We want to grow organically with you guys, and you guys tell us exactly what you think will be best and how it works. We always want to keep the human element. Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I need people to hit the like button on the way out. Just remind me now.
Hit that like button on the way out. We don't want to just kind of, throw it out there. We want to make sure that it's something that you will stand behind, that this show is yours. This show works and really thrives on the community aspect of it, and we appreciate you guys always pulling up and always doing good work with us. So we will end it here, and we're about 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'm sure Living Split Screen is still going. Go over to that channel. If you haven't subscribed to them, do so, because we hit our 1K, but they haven't done that yet, and they are our brethren in this space, so we want to make sure they succeed as well. So go ahead and do that. We appreciate y'all being here. We see so many great content creators in this community.
Also
and
see
on this
Punty
channel.
in the chat. Shout out to Punty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. More and more folks always jumping in. If you want to be on this show as a voice in our community, hit me in the DM. Our DMs are always open. I want to get more voices on here, both in the content creator space and in the community in general. Hit me up. We'll talk. We'll definitely do it. Again, TKO Asante on Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, all the places you can find me. Mr. Everborn Saga, tell the fine people where they can find you while we go through this week.
All right, so here's the thing. You can find me everywhere at Everborn Saga, but I want all of you guys to do me a favor. There's 73 people here right now. Please do me this favor. If you like my hot takes or if you don't, go to everbornsaga.com. We are running an amazing sale right now. Now, do me a favor if you just click on any one of those comic books, right? If you scroll down when you click on any of them, you're going to see this sale we have going on at the bottom. Keep going. Keep going. Right here, you can get the entire collection of the Everborn Saga for $50. This is normally like almost $70, right?
Yep.
$50,
you get it all,
and you'll get every book we've produced. That's over 300 pages of art. We have bonus content in there. It's all in color, all story. We're telling an epic fantasy that takes place across 2 different timelines, and there's 4 series, each following a different character, telling the story from their vantage point. I promise you will not be disappointed. And
this is not drawn by or scripted by any AIs. This is hard work done by human beings.
It's all done by human beings that were hopefully not in sweatshops. But check out everbornsaga.com. You can get the whole collection if you missed any. And it would do. We have a big year planned ahead. We have 2 games we're working on. And they're based on these comics. So check these out. We've been doing this for a few years now. And if you want to
talking Everborn Saga into trying to get into ID at Xbox, submit your thing, baby. Maybe they'll help you grow it. Like, get out there, show the people what you're working on. You know what I'm saying? I hope you take my advice to heart. Get in there, man. We want to see this on the console.
Yes, we're working on it. We'll see what happens. But everbornsaga.com, check out the books. This sale, we sold out in like 2 days the first time we did this, and so we just got a new shipment of books. So these do kind of go fast, but go to everbornsaga.com and look for me on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube at Everborn Saga. But go to everbornsaga.com, check out what we got to offer.
Thank you guys so much once again. It has been a great conversation. 2023 starting off with just amazing news stories and amazing games to play and things to talk about. I will end it here and show you the awesome outro that the Wandering Dutch has provided us. Thank you again, good sir. Without you, we would not shine as brightly as we do. And I will say, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend gaming. Go out there, listen to the podcast, play them games, talk to all the podcasting community. You'll see me in the chat. You know I'm always in somebody's chat. Appreciate y'all so much, and we shall see y'all next week. you.